Another mock to break down. Are the Giants and the Jets doing the right thing? At least according to someone out there. And the annual league meetings out in Phoenix. They're happening as we speak. We'll have breaking news from John Harbaugh, who's sitting at the podium right now on the Giants. Maybe even some Darren Mucci stuff. Stick around. It's the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital live on a Monday. And it starts right now. Happy Monday, Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Great to be back on the beam here, starting another week fresh. March the 30th. We're just a couple of days from April, baby. April. Still say spring doesn't start in central New York till May, but, you know, we're getting closer, and I don't see any snow coming. Although we got some on Saturday, Boy Green. It was just spritzing around the air for a little bit, nothing really landing on the ground. But still, snow's still out there. Could, get some kind of weird rank snowstorm, so hopefully we don't get that. But no snow in sunny Arizona, Phoenix, that is, and that is where the annual meetings for the NFL are going on. John Harbaugh is at the podium right now, so we'll try and hawk Twitter and any place else and get some of these comments live and discuss anything that's going on. We've got a new mock draft from Matt Miller of ESPN, 7 rounds worth, Boy Green. Wow. This is the entire draft, so we can look at what Miller thinks the Jets are doing, what the Giants are doing. So I've got all my Giants picks written down, Boy Green, and we'll discuss them and break it down and tell people what Matt Miller thinks the Giants are going to do. I agree and disagree with some of Miller's assessments here in terms of what the Giants may or may not do. And I'm sure you have some feelings about the Jet picks. So we'll get into all of that as well. And then a couple of just little side ventures, you might say. But I don't want to do the show today without mentioning that we now have a Final Four in the NCAA tournament. It has been, despite no Syracuse University in it, no maybe some other teams that a lot of people like, perhaps maybe their local team isn't in it, but it has been a very exciting tournament. And the game yesterday between Duke and Connecticut, which I watched live, was phenomenal. Connecticut down 19 points at one point to Duke. Dan Hurley, trying to rally the troops at halftime. I think they were down 15 at the half. Gets his team back into it. They start to get some stops. They start to make some shots. The game is a little bit of terse back and forth. And then Duke looks like they've got the game. They've got it, baby. They've got the lead. They've got the ball. There's only 5 seconds left in the game, 5.5 seconds left in the game. Inbounds, they're going to foul. You go to the line. You're at the other end. You make a couple. You pretty much can put the game out of reach. And Duke, for some reason, turns the ball over at the worst possible time. It results in a guy getting it at half court, passing it to Caravan, one of the stars of Duke, who had a terrible stars of UConn, who had a terrible game, and he decides to dish it back to the freshman, all right, who's just inside a half court. He's out there in a 30-foot range, and he heaves one as time is about to expire, and it goes through swish like it was meant to be, BG, like it was meant to be, my friend. Yeah. Almost from the half, and then as a result, we get ourselves a win for Connecticut. It goes in with like 0.3. Duke gets right. They don't even get the ball into the hands of a player, so they got to go the full length of the court. They just chuck it. No Christian Laettner miracle this time for Duke, and right. Connecticut does it again. Dan Hurley has been fantastic for him. He is a very well-paid coach, the highest-paid coach in the Big East, and for a lot of reasons. And he gets this team to grind and get the win, and a very unsuspecting freshman getting it done. And so they're on to the Final Four. And they get an easy draw, by the way, too, if you want to call it that way. They get a 3 seed, So we got the 2 1 seeds on the one side with Arizona and Michigan, 2 teams that look like maybe the 2 best teams in this tournament. Connecticut keeps on rolling, and they may get another swing at this piñata. I would certainly think that they'll be favorites over Illinois in that semifinal matchup. And, of course, it's in Indianapolis, right, this year.
Let me double check that.
Yes, it's Indianapolis. I'm sure of it.
Okay.
So Final Four in Indianapolis this year. And the kid who made the shot, by the way, is from that area, so he's going to get to go back home and perform, dare I say, in front of the family and friends and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool for Connecticut as well. So that was kind of a big. We had a really, really interesting thing happen in the PGA Tour. Gary Woodland, who kind of disappeared for a little while, but went public with his diagnosis of PTSD. All right, was having some real mental health issues, had to kind of walk away from golf for a while, has made his way back, and now wins the event over the weekend and was getting roars from the crowd and a teary, speech after the tournament, after winning, thanking everybody from his family to his team of people to the fans themselves who were rooting for him down the stretch. It was a really heartwarming story in the world of golf. And then lastly, we can dig in on this later if you want, because I could do about an hour on this. But the Twins manager, okay, I didn't remember the other team they were playing. It doesn't even matter. Everybody that knows baseball knows that this year the challenge system is now in place for balls and strikes. And so the Twins' opponent is the Twins are at the plate. Their opponent is in the field. All right, if you want to look up who it is, you can, Paul. I should know it off the top of my head. I'm sorry I don't. All right, and 3-1 count, pitch comes in, umpire calls it a ball, looks like it's a borderline, so the pitcher just is able to tap the top of their cap, and that means challenge the pitch. And every team gets 2 challenges during the course of the game. You lose it if you get it wrong. I think you keep it.
You said this was yesterday, right?
Yes, it was yesterday. Twins and whoever the heck they played. All right.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Orioles.
Okay, so Twins, Orioles. And so Orioles pitcher, borderline pitch, pitcher checks because it's going to be ball forward to get the hitters running down the first. Hold on, challenge that pitch. They challenge it. We see the video. Strike. Umpire had it wrong. So batter now has to come back. 3-2 count now at the plate, right? Now, next pitch comes in. Borderline pitch again. All right. Umpire calls it a ball. Player starts to run down. Pitcher goes, I'll challenge that one too. He does. Strike 3. Batter's out. Back to the dugout. Challenge system, quote, works. Twins manager comes out to argue with the umpires after seeing it on video. What is going on there? I'm like, what is the whole idea of this? Is to not have arguments that the computer decides. And I don't know what was exactly being said, but it was the most ridiculous thing ever. And just further another tentacle as to why the challenge system is better, but it's still going to be a big challenge and a problem for baseball. So there you go. And I could go off on that because I just want to and just get the fact that umpires can get 2 calls like that wrong. Boom. And it's not the umpire's fault, by the way. These were tough pitches. The ball was moving. Even when I saw them with the naked eye, I was like, that did look like a ball, and then, wow, holy crow, got a piece of that box, and then the second one, almost the whole ball was in the strike zone, and it didn't look like that. It looked like, maybe, I'm not sure. And then you see it on video. There it is,
But that's why they get paid a lot of money, man. That's what that was my first. You said, what do you think about it? Like, the thing I was going to say is immediately that he got 2 wrong in a row, and the pitcher's like, tap. Like, gee, and this is the best of the best?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But, again, and to move that conversation into umpires, talk about refereeing. I mean, let's take us right into NFL, and then we'll get into our main topic of the day. All right. But the annual meetings are going on out in Arizona, as we mentioned. We'll try and give you some breaking updates, essentially.
Which we will. I've got something juicy for you in a few minutes.
But one of the things that's going on is they have to get into negotiations with the NFL Referees Association during this offseason, and it's not going well so far, Boy Green. So you think things are bad in baseball? You want replacement refs in the NFL? I mean, let me tell you something. I watch college football all the time, okay? Syracuse, as you know, has a team in college football, okay? I watch a lot of college football during football season. The refereeing isn't very good. Now you're going to bring that to the pro level where the game is faster and everything, because that's where a lot of the referees are going to come from, right? They're going to go for the big bucks, right? And cross the line, so to speak, and work for the NFL. So hopefully it doesn't get to that, because as bad as NFL refereeing can be, and we all can complain about it from time to time, you don't want the college guys calling the NFL games. I'm telling you right now, folks, get this thing solved at the at these annual meetings. Come up with a better plan. Figure out the money. All right. Get these referees back. As bad as it gets, it's going to get far worse if we have a walkout here by the referees, or we have the referees essentially on strike during the start of the NFL season. Not a good scene at all. All right, BG, go ahead. What is going on? Already stuff out of Arizona. So let's do it, man. Let's break some news here.
All right, so here we go. Lurch, did you see any of the flag football action with Brady and everything like a week or two ago?
Yes, I saw clips and I heard Brady talking. Maybe he could come back again. He was throwing that ball pretty good. Come on.
Well, apparently Brady did legitimately look into it.
Yeah,
he discussed with the NFL about what it would look like, and they were like,
being an
we're getting in
owner
some dicey territory.
playing.
Owner, player. I'm sure they would love Tom Brady. That sells tickets and jerseys and everything else. But they're like, we could get a lot of, if we open up Pandora's box here, that opens up a lot of bad stuff. Tom, just, enjoy everything you got cooking. That's probably for the best. But however, during that flag football game, there was all kinds of interesting players that played in the game. Some are retired. Some are on teams. Some are free agents that just played. And a familiar name to you, Lurch, Odell Beckham Jr. was in this game, and he made a couple of catches that people went, Odell Beckham Jr., who I'm pretty sure didn't end up suiting anybody last season. Let me double check that to confirm. I think he basically had the entire year off.
I mean, he was banged up, and then
he was. So his last season was with the Dolphins in 2024. So he had a year sabbatical last year. Mm-hmm. Well, John Harbaugh was asked about OBJ at the annual league meetings, and here's what he said, quote, if Odell is an option, we'll be looking at it. John Harbaugh on a reunion with OBJ via Connor Hughes of SNY. He said they'll see how it all goes, what's best for him, what's best for the Giants. But he said if OBJ can help them be a better team, it's something they will, quote, pursue. Are you interested in an OBJ reunion? And wouldn't this be something? He'd link up with Malik Neighbors. He wouldn't have to be the guy, obviously, at this stage of his career. Jackson Dart, he was asked about a Giant flirtation, and he said, during media of this flag football thing on the side doing interviews, he said, I'd love to come back to the Giants if that option's on the table. So OBJ Giants reunion, Lurch? You open to it?
Unless he sipped from the fountain of youth during his year off and found it somewhere in Florida or wherever the heck it is.
He's 33.
To me, he's at best a wide receiver 3, might even be categorized more as a wide receiver 4 these days. Now, that doesn't mean that the guy can't help. Okay. Yeah. But if you're talking about lining him up opposite Malik Neighbors and let's go, Boy Green, you can just take that and flush it right back down the toilet from which it came, okay? No, is the answer to that. And to be honest with you, I understand there's this sentimental thing about how good he was with the Giants and how his career really, ultimately, unfortunately for him, okay, the best part of his career was obviously clearly with the Giants. Okay. And then after he left, it just all kind of went bad. But it doesn't, I don't know. I just have a tough time flushing down all of the nonsense and all of the off the field.
There was some weird stuff going on there at the end. Yeah.
And I just, does he want it? And the Giants had some things to say about that stuff too, including bye-bye. So I just don't know if it's in the best interests of this franchise. While it's a cute, cool kind of thing. And if he went out this year and was there, they're one of their reserve receivers and caught a few touchdowns and did a cool few things because I'm sure he can still make some amazing catches. I don't think he can separate anymore. I don't think he can, go out there and beat people one-on-one regularly, but he's still capable at his age of doing some things. Again, if given good health. He's had problems with health in recent years. But I just don't know if I want the circus back in town. Is it going to be a circus again? You've got this new coach and you got a chance to have a fresh start. And then you're going to what? Go back into the way back time machine because it's sentimental. It's cool. It's like I got a jersey that I can pull out of the closet. Like you got to do with Gino. Good for you. A little different situation there. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, so honestly, I'm against it. I won't be upset if it happens because if John Harbaugh again thinks this guy can be of some help, I'll buy it. Again, Harbaugh right now has my complete and utter attention in terms of
and Harbaugh we trust.
And determining, right. That's my motto right now. And now, maybe it won't be down the road. Harbaugh makes a few mistakes. He's going to lose my trust. But right now, he has my trust. We've been in such a bad place, and we have a competent person in charge now, and I am going to ride that horse till it bucks me. So that's where I'm at right now as a fan. And if he believes, I'll go along with it. But it'll be a wry smile. It'll be like, oh, cool, cute, nostalgia. All right, he better go out there and do some things. He better start proving himself right away, or I'm off this horse. I'm going to be screaming for his head. So, again, I'm kind of Luke cold on this one would be the best way to describe it. Luke cold, Boy Green. Sorry. I know you love the whole Odell idea, but I do. I don't. Do me if you want. There will be Giant fans out there who will boo me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a realist on this one rather than a nostalgist. Okay.
Also, because the weird Jets element, and there's some other Giant quotes we'll get your thoughts on because we'll do Jets and Giants here. Guys, make sure you guys like the video, by the way, as you're coming on in here on YouTube. Again, no matter where you're watching, whether it's on the Boy Green channel or the MC Show digital channel right there, we are closing in, Lurch. I think the last time I checked, we're like 170 subscribers away from 1,000.
Yeah, we're at 830 right now.
Okay,
so
there you go.
170 away. 170 away. Nice round number. Let's get that round number down to like 100. Let's get there. But we are on the march to 1,000. And by the way, Boy Green, I've got, as they say, the tote board is getting heavy. As you know, we are starting our first ever raffle on the air. And I have created a nice little ticket for us, Boy Green, with all the information, including the tote board. Jamie, the FedEx guy, our Hall of Fame member, with 10 raffle tickets already. T-Town Jet on the board with 2. MFC and Big Al each have a raffle ticket. And I'm going to tell you something about why those guys have a raffle ticket, all right? Because they did not purchase a membership or do anything. You know why they have a raffle ticket? Because as you know, we are a new channel primarily, all right?
Sure.
And membership we've only had in existence for a couple of months. Right. Well, both Big Al and MFC are now entering their second month of membership. So I gave both of them for a thanks for sticking with us after month 1. Free raffle ticket into this raffle, which, as you see below in the scrolling ticker, is for 2 really cool items. This Dan Aykroyd autographed harmonica. Not only is the case of the harmonica autograph, but the harmonica itself. I'm not pulling it out of this case again, all right? There's a picture of Dan Aykroyd actually autographing that harmonica. And this really cool Sports Illustrated 2003 cover when Carmelo Anthony and Syracuse won the national championship. It's in perfect condition, really pristine condition, all right? And you could have it framed. You could even have it autographed by Carmelo and put it on your wall for the diehard Syracuse fan, an absolutely cool item to have. So those 2 items, we will raffle them off. 22, as you know, is my favorite number, Boy Green. Yeah. So we're going to start our raffles right after the 22nd every month, and we're going to give away and draw our winners on the 22nd of the month. So
that's the day before the NFL draft.
There you go. Day before the NFL draft. All right. Those 2 items are going out to somebody on our tote board. And how do you get them? You purchase a membership for yourself. That gets you 2 tickets. Okay. You could do that right now. Okay. You do a super chat or a super sticker or the money equivalent of $3. That gets you a raffle ticket. You do $6. It's 2 tickets. $9. It's 3 tickets. So on and so forth. All right. If you join either of our levels beyond or above our lowest level, which is the 12th Manchild, which we appreciate anybody that can be there. But if you become a diehard, you immediately get 5 free raffle tickets. All right. And if you are a Hall of Famer, you automatically get 10 free raffle tickets. And by the way, if you stick in those membership levels, every month you're automatically into the next raffle for those free tickets. So you don't have to do anything. And you're already getting them. For instance, Jamie, who leads the tote board right now, is a Hall of Fame member. He gets 10 raffle tickets right out of the box. So he is leader on the tote board right now. But we have a couple of weeks to get this moving. But if you want to get in on the harmonica and the Carmelo Anthony Sports Illustrated edition from 2003, then you want to subscribe today, super chat today, do whatever you can today, and get your name on that tote board. But we got a few names on there already, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more of our friends and neighbors essentially out there on the tote board. So there you go. And I'll leave that rolling for a little while so everybody understands what you got.
Of course. And yeah, I would just say this on the Odell Beckham Jr. thing. A couple of Jets reporters shared a story that in 2023, OBJ was set to join the Jets. He was going to fly to New York, join up with Aaron Rodgers, and they were just retelling this story because that happened at the league meetings back then. And OBJ, right before he was about to get on the plane, the plan was get on the plane, fly to the Jets, take a physical, pass the physical, he gets signed. Right before he got on the plane, he got a call from the Baltimore Ravens with a last-second crazy offer. And he called the Jets, say, do you want to match this offer? It's a 1-year deal, maximum value of $18 million, $15 million guaranteed. And the Jets went, geez, Alou, no, we're definitely not going to match that ridiculous contract. So instead of getting on the plane, he becomes a Raven. And now, he's still a free agent today. So, I've got a special place in my heart for OBJ. I would have loved to have him here, but unfortunately it did not. So we'll see. We'll see if it happens, Lurch. But yeah, definitely boo. Come on, man. You gotta get on that. Here's another one. I'm going to keep throwing up some of these giant quotes that are coming out. Harbaugh speaking right now. Darren Muji set to speak here in a little bit. I'll post some of those quotes when we're getting them and we can talk about them. Here's this one. that the Giants will have at least one joint practice trying for 2, 1 day apiece, and he plans on playing most of his guys in preseason. Who doesn't like some preseason questions in March, Lurch? Okay? It looks like he's the kind of guy that's playing his starters. Hey, man, we're playing our guys. We're going to get better. We're not going to be skipping no preseason. We're playing preseason. Your reaction's what?
I like that. I don't understand why the preseason has gotten to the point where it is. We already have limited practices. Everything's been scaled down. All right. And, playing in games, okay, even games where the score ultimately doesn't matter that much, is still really important to getting ready for a season. Anybody that's ever played the game of football, all right, knows that contact and starting to have that contact happen to you in unsuspecting ways, not just in planned drills where you're running into something or there's another person there and you go whistle, whistle, right. Or running back breaks out, but we're not going to tackle him. He's just going to run down the field untouched because he's, because we don't tackle people, once they get past the line of scrimmage and, in preseason practice, in training camp. So, games are real and games simulate or don't simulate. It is real contact that I think gets you realistically ready for the season. Of course, there's risk of injury, but that's football by its very nature. All right. Who's to say that same guy isn't getting hurt, 3 weeks down the road because that player isn't ready to be hit? Okay. I think it's an important thing. It's really gotten annoying to me how coaches treat the preseason these days and how it's just nothing but the backups and even third and fourth stringers, guys that are probably not even going to make the roster. And you're like, what's the point of this? Like, I know there's a developmental issue to it, but isn't developing the main guys on your team the most important thing to the season? So I've never understood it. It's gotten worse, and I'm glad to have a coach that cares about it.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm all for it too. More football. Football's good.
More football.
Okay. Here's one I don't know if you'll love. I feel like you've gone back and forth on this. John Harbaugh was asked about Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame running back, and he was asked about him, and he said, quote, "The business is football. We want to win games. We want to be successful, to do what we have to build. To do what we have to do to build the very best team we can." Harbaugh said you could do that by getting good players, and adds that Love is a, quote, very, very, and a few more varies after that, good player. That sounds very, I know it's lying season and all that, but man, that sure sounds like if Jeremiah Love's on the board, Love may be going to New York.
That would not bother me, Boy Green. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It would not bother me. He is an immensely talented player. The Giants, at this point in their evolution, to me, need to be collecting really good players. This is how you get good as a football team. Now, do they need to be addressing needs as well? Of course they do. They need to be addressing needs. But you tell me, again, we'll talk about Matt Miller's, mock draft, which he did the same thing that I did in the mock that you and I had last week. He took Caleb Downs at number 5. And the Giants, they kind of need a safety, but it's not like their most glaring need. All right. Yeah. Why would they take a guy like Caleb Downs? Because they just think he's a great athlete. They think he could be, dare I say, an Ed Reed type. Hate to even compare him to a Hall of Famer like that, but that kind of impact on a defense. There are a lot of people out there that feel that Caleb Downs could provide that. So you could pick a safety who could have that kind of impact on your defense, but you can't take a running back who your coaching staff and people believe could have the same kind of effect on your offense. I'm interested in the Giants building a defense, but I also think that they should pick the very best player that they can at number 5. And I just think if they feel that Love is the best player, they should take him. And I think it adds to the team. Who was it that we were talking with last week that said, it would set them back? Was it the football grump? I think it was the football grump, right? We had the football
yes. Yeah. He said it would set them back. I totally disagree with that, to be honest.
I did not agree with that assessment of the football grump from the Giants Nation show. And thank him for joining us last week. Cool. I just don't agree that sets them back.
I think it's the opposite, quite frankly. I feel like if you're the Giants, you do this. You're going all in right now. Right. You're saying, hey, this is a win right now player, and I know we're, using a top 5 pick on a running back, but we think we want to help Jackson Dart immediately, and we want to try to do things right this very moment. So yeah, I with all due respect, and by the way, this is the cool thing about when we have guests on the show. And also, here's just I was asked about this recently in another interview, Lurch, and you can answer it in your own way. When I have a guest on the show and they say something I don't agree with, unless I see that there's a sense of us having a back and forth and that's entertaining to the audience, I'm not just going to say, yeah, that's stupid. I'm not going to go after that. I brought them on for their expertise. They're coming on to answer my questions or whatever else is going on. But I'm not going to just berate them for 5 or 10 minutes saying I don't agree with their opinion. I asked for their opinion. They provided it. So for people that say, why don't you say that in the middle of the interview? Like me and Lurch have a bunch of questions to get to for the football grump. I'm not just going to, go after him because I don't agree with his Jeremiah Love take. I'm like, oh, right. Interesting. Okay. And then here we go.
Yeah. So look, everybody's got their opinions about this. Here's my opinion. Very simple and cut and dry. Or I make this as black and white as possible.
Okay.
Get the best damn player available at 5.
Okay.
That's all I care about. Really, as a Giants fan going into this draft this season, if we stay at number 5, I want the best possible player. Is that what's his name? The guy the Jets are going to pick, the Ohio State guy.
Arvell Reese.
Yeah. If Arvell Reese slips to 5 and John Harbaugh thinks he's the best player on the board, we'll take Arvell. Thank you very much. Okay. The one thing, just in terms of positional value, I don't think, considering some of the other guys that are out there, like Love, like Downs, like a Reese, who else do I want to put in that pot?
Sonny Styles?
Styles, maybe, I don't know. Getting mixed reviews on Styles. The jury's still out a little bit for me on Styles in terms of what kind of impact he can have. All right. But I want an impactful player.
Okay.
That's really ultimately what I want for the Giants if they stay at 5. And I don't honestly care if it comes on the offense or the defensive side. I think we're more needy on the defense at the moment, but I'm certainly not against making Jackson Dart's life better, And if making his life better means we're taking that big offensive tackle because we really love him. We think he's going to be phenomenal. All right. I hate taking tackles. It's so boring. All right. Yeah. But if I would do that, if it's having that impact safety and taking downs, if it's having that impact running back and taking Caleb Love, if it's having that interior presence and that Sonny Styles, like who is that guy in the Giants' eyes that is going to be a game changer? You got to have a very short list. When you're picking in the top 5, you got to have a very short list. Heck, you're really in the top 4 because you're not taking a quarterback, and there is a team clearly going to take a quarterback. So you really have one of the top 4 most talented players in the draft outside of quarterback to select from. So again, I don't care, offense, defense. Just get me a guy that you honestly believe is going to be a huge difference maker in whatever position they play. If it's the wideout, give me the wideout. If it's the offensive lineman, give me the offensive lineman. If it's the safety, give me the safety. If it's the linebacker, give me the linebacker. The one place I would say the Giants probably shouldn't go is edge rusher. All right. And I just saw a mock. I was looking at a mock yesterday or this morning where the Giants took Bailey. And I was like, taking Bailey? That makes no sense at all. They have 3 guys right now, and they got one they don't know what to do with. They're not taking another one. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I think there has to be at least some kind of blurred line in the sand about positional value or what you've got covered at this moment when you're a team that has so many needs like the Giants. So that's kind of my overall take on the Giants. So, I don't really have a strong, like, got to take this guy thing at 5.
Yeah.
But I got a handful of guys that I think could be Booms, and Love is one of them. And so if the Giants go that way, I'm going to get behind it big time.
Okay, there you go. So again, if you are to, I don't know what we're supposed to believe out there in the universe. I guess that's up to everybody else on questions and whether or not it's lying season or what have you. But that's it. So it looks like Harbaugh is done. We will see as the reporters go back over their notes and see if there's other clips and things to tweet out to see if there are more other interesting things that he said. So we'll dive into that. But while we're waiting for that, Lurch, we're also seeing if Darren Muji, he is scheduled to speak today. We'll see when those quotes start coming out. But there was a quote already from Aaron Glenn. Now, he doesn't speak with the normal media until Tuesday at 11 a.m. However, he did do a one-on-one sit-down The teams have relationships with the NFL Network, so you have some of those one-on-one interviews. And Aaron Glenn had something to say about Geno Smith. Let's go to the video footage. Aaron Glenn sat down with NFL Network's Judy Batista.
Aaron, I know you've said Geno Smith is a Jet. What does it mean to have Geno back in the building?
It means to have a bona fide starter come in and lead this offense to where it needs to go. Listen, he's done it, a couple of years. I mean, those years in Seattle when he was, I think, comeback player of the year. Man, he was up for MVP early in the season. There's no doubt in my mind that we brought a competent starter here in this team. I look forward to him getting in the building.
So just to be clear, Geno Smith is the starting quarterback.
No doubt about it. He's our guy.
Lurch, I want to get your thoughts on this first, okay? Because we had a show about this a couple days ago on Boy Green Daily. The Jets behind the scenes apparently have been telling people, or certain people, so I guess I'll just reveal it so there's nothing ominous here. Rich Cimini spoke with the agents of backup quarterbacks at Talk with the Jets, because the Jets are, of course, looking for a backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. And those agents were told that, there's no shot whoever you are, your veteran backup, is going to compete for the starting job. Geno Smith is the guy. That's apparently what they were saying behind the scenes, and now Aaron Glenn publicly said, oh, yeah, Geno Smith is the QB1. Is that a mistake to immediately crown Geno Smith the starting quarterback versus waiting it out and drafting a guy or maybe signing someone else and making them all compete? Was that a mistake by the Jets?
I hate when quarterbacks do that. I mean, I hate when coaches do that, regardless of the situation. Clearly, of the stable of guys they have right now, that's the case.
Right. Brady Cook, Bailey Zappi, and Geno Smith. That's the room.
I mean, so what Jet fan out there that has anything between their two ears doesn't know that? Yeah. We all know. The fan base knows. Opposing fan bases know. As a Giant fan, I know.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else to turn.
Right.
Okay. And barring a trade for the number 1 overall pick, if they decide to take Ty Simpson or somebody else in the second or third round or wherever the heck they don't have a third round pick, right?
They don't.
Later in the draft, after the first round, the fact of the matter is that those players, including Simpson, are at least initially developmental players. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're not starting either. So even if you go draft, still Geno remains number 1. So number 1, he's stating the obvious, which doesn't need to be stated. Okay. So it's just why bother?
So Lurch, do your PR. Judy. So he says everything he says in that first answer. Judy Batista does a follow-up. So just to be clear, are you saying Geno Smith is your starting quarterback? He's like, no doubt about it. He's our guy. So what if she follows up with that question to you? Your response would have been what if you were Aaron Glenn?
Well, she did corner him to give a yes or no answer, so to speak. That's right. What a good reporter does, right? Let's get him on the record saying this.
Because he sort of indicated it. He said, what does it mean to have Geno Smith in the building? We brought in a competent starter and blah, 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 blah. So she sort of set it up.
Right. This is one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't moments. So this is a tough one from a PR standpoint, and this is why I'm going to hedge on this a little bit. I'm not typically a hedger when it comes to PR, but this is why I'm going to hedge. All right. I think he has no choice but to answer the way he answered because there's nowhere else to go.
I think there's one other place to go. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay. Well, you can offer that then, and I'll let you know if I think it's a place to go. Okay. But I think if he says, which I think should be more of the truth, which is, this is why we have training camp. This is why we don't decide positions in March. Okay. Here might be my answer. We don't decide positions in March. We decide them in training camp. But obviously, all signs are pointing to Geno as number 1. That would have been my answer if I was Aaron Glenn. Not, he's our number 1, and that's it. Things can happen. Mm-hmm. You draft Ty Simpson, okay? The Raiders don't pick, what's his name, number 1, right? They don't pick
Fernando Mendoza. Right. Yeah.
Now you got Fernando. What, you're not taking him at number 2? Please. Yeah. Okay, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You decide at the last minute you're going to trade for number 1. Now what? Mm-hmm. Now you can get the quarterback of your dreams. You're going to say no to that? You're going to say no just because you brought in Geno Smith and you're going to hurt his feelings? Oh, poor boo-boo. Here, let me put a little Band-Aid on you, Geno. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right? If you're getting that kind of guy, it may not matter. And then it is a competition. Probably Geno still starts if they even were lucky enough to get that pick somehow, some way, or the other, the Raiders botched it and didn't,
Right.
think the guy was worth it. All right. So you don't know what's going to happen at number 1, even though we all do. We still don't know 100%.
Mhm.
And even if you draft, let's say Simpson, let's say you draft
Right.
Simpson with your first pick in the second round. Okay.
Okay.
You don't even have to expend a first rounder. You
Right.
get him as the first pick of the second round. All right.
Yeah.
And then Simpson just has a great camp. And it's just, you're just like, whoa, what the heck? Holy crow. I didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself room always to adapt or die. We said it. We've quoted that movie Moneyball
Yes.
forever.
Do we
Adapt
still
or
have
die.
that?
Adapt
Yeah,
or
let me
die.
see.
Nothing's a sure thing. All right. So stop making it a sure thing. It's 99, but it's still one that it could go a different direction or something else could happen. So again, you want my PR advice? My PR advice would have been that, it's pretty obvious that Geno is the guy, but we don't make decisions like this now. We make decisions like this in training camp as we approach the season. That's my answer to that. All right.
Okay.
The danger, if you don't quite say it the right way, Boy Green, the danger is that you leave it dangling out there for the idiot reporters who love to jump on that one little tiny thing, that one little shred of doubt that you've put out there as a coach to say, like, I don't know, Aaron Glenn sounds like he's waffling a little bit here.
See,
That's
that,
the problem.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
the problem.
First off,
to die. Adapt to die.
okay. Yeah. There you go. Get a
Adapt
little
to
of that.
die.
Okay, so the thing I wanted to say is this, but it leaves the door open of what you just said. Okay, if you're Aaron Glenn and you get asked that question, and is Geno Smith the starter as of now? Sure, he's the starter, but again, you just leave the door open for everyone to go, wow, not committed to him. Interesting.
I know.
Because no matter what you say, they're going to come after you. You definitively go after him. Wow, the guy who led the league in picks last year is your definitive guy. Interesting. If he doesn't, if he just says your thing, hey, compete, training camp, we compete for everybody. Let's go. Oh, wow, look at this. He's going to have to fight for it. So there's no good. There's no good, perfectly qualified answer he can say that's just perfect for everyone.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm curious about as of now, but that leaves the back door open.
Yeah. I mean, again, if the answer is we don't decide these things at this time, but it seems pretty obvious that, that looks like where we're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, but I know reporters are crazy and they'll take that one little shred. And he said, looks like he did, he did. So I don't have a problem with him answering the way he is because he has the right, of course, to change his mind down the road.
Right.
So it's not like some faux pas. The only thing I would say about Glenn is just the danger of he came into last year so rip roaring. I'm in charge. I got this. I'm the man. I'm just I'm a confident, strong guy. And look, I mean, that's a good way to exude leadership at this level. I mean, it's his first head coaching job in the NFL. He's been a player in the league. He was with the, last with the Detroit Lions, who were able to really build something. He's been sitting at Dan Campbell's table, so to speak, watching him operate. Dan Campbell, I'll take your kneecaps out. We're going to the top. We're going to do it my way or the highway thing. So I don't blame Glenn for being Glenn, but coming off of last year, where he was so emphatic about everything, and then everything he was emphatic about fell apart.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't say all right, that doesn't mean you lose your entire swagger, but I do think you be a little more calculating. I think you be a little more measured. Okay, that you don't just keep running out there and emphatically saying everything. I'm taking over the D, and it's going to be great now. All right, what if it sucks after 3 weeks? Now you look like a bigger idiot. He's number one, no matter what. Something else happened over here. They didn't take Fernando, and now we got the pick. What does that mean to what I said? So again, you can change your mind. Stories can change. It's fine. But I hate that emphatic thing sometimes because you just, you leave no doubt. But it's because of the skeptical media that sometimes coaches feel that they have to do that. And I think in this instance, it's not going to come back to bite them. I really don't, because fans would understand if the landscape changes and Fernando's available or something else crazy happens that could happen. You never know.
Right. I don't think there's going to be a reporter who says, "Oh, Aaron,
Yeah, he
it's
said that.
August."
Right.
Right. It's the third week of August, and he's like, Ty Simpson's my starting quarterback. And a reporter's like, excuse me, on March 30th, you said definitively, Gino, what changed? We drafted Ty Simpson. What the hell do you mean changed? So I don't believe a reporter's going to do that. But
And sometimes doing this just puts it to bed. It's a story today and this week, and
that's true.
We're not going to be talking about it next week.
100%. No, definitely not.
Nothing to talk about. Plus, again, he just stated the obvious. Okay, so
I mean, really, Brady Cook and Bailey Zappi.
This is earth shattering. I mean, I think we could find some more earth shattering news besides Aaron Glenn saying, "Yep, Gino's number one."
All right. So here's what we'll do. We got a few NFL things that are just interesting from the annual league meetings that are going on right now. Today is NFC Day. So the NFC head coaches are at the breakfast tables. They're answering questions. We're getting those. They're doing media. AFC is tomorrow. So we'll get some more of that. And again, Darren Muji is supposed to speak today at some offshoot part of the Arizona hotel, the Phoenix hotel. So we'll let you guys know when that comes through. So Lurch, here's one that's just sort of juicy. There's a lot of rumors that the Patriots and Eagles will be trade partners for A.J. Brown. If that does happen at some point this offseason, Nick Sirianni just confirmed that they will be joint practicing against the Patriots in Foxborough. Which side will A.J. Brown be playing for? That's my question, Manchild.
Well, isn't Nick Sirianni's new line or Howie Roseman's new line or Philadelphia's new line, whoever it is that's doing the talking these days, is A.J. Brown is an Eagle, right? Is that what they're saying, right? They're rolling that out to everybody.
Let me ask you, would you PR advise the people that so Howie Roseman is who you're referencing yesterday? Anytime he's asked the A.J. Brown thing, he just kept giving the same answer. A.J. Brown's an Eagle. A.J. Brown's an Eagle. A.J. Brown, over and over and over and over again. As a PR guy, would you do that? Because players sometimes do that. Yeah, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to like if there's an off the field issue, they just keep repeating the same mundane line and say, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that. And hopefully they just stop asking the questions. As a PR person in this case where Howie Roseman kept repeating the same thing, is that something you would advise? And then eventually they just shut up and get over it? Or is that is there any negative to just doing something like that?
The media is tough to control sometimes. They want to ask their questions and everybody wants to get it first and be there. I never like it when coaches get testy. So,
yeah, right.
The question gets asked again tomorrow, you answer it the same way. Question gets asked again next week, you answer it the same way. What does it do? It stops there from being any additional story. Like, all right, if they wrote the first story, all right, then all I could say is, Sirianni or Roseman just continues to say the same thing. There's no story there. So it's not a bad way to respond. You could go the other route, but I always think it's better to be friendlier with the media rather than terse with the media. Just say, I've been asked this for the last 2 weeks. Not going to keep answering this question over again. It's the same answer. Okay. Yeah. So what he's doing is fine. Good PR by him. To just keep saying what he's saying over and over again. He could put out the caveat, if there's any news, I'll let you know. But why would he? If his thing is this guy's on the Eagles and, he doesn't want to say we're not doing anything, we're not moving him, that's the best answer, just again, to quiet the skeptics from stopping them from creating a story out of just a little half of a sentence here. Oh, did you hear? That kind of means it could mean it. This is where we go. This is a world of opinions. Okay. We do a talk show ourselves.
Of course.
Don't have a lot of opinion here today. All right. So I get it. My personal philosophy has always been to try to be fair with my opinions and to not just because it's the hot take, go hot. I like to look at everything and try and have, again, more of a well-rounded opinion about things, but that is definitely not the case in a lot of working for a lot of different media. I'm glad we're independent. We don't have to answer to people other than ourselves and our audience. Right. That's a nice place to be, because when I wasn't in that world, you can be influenced by those that you work for, period.
Definitely. And things you're allowed to say, not allowed to say, and things that
I had my boss years ago sit down with me and say, I had to do this, I had to do that. I was like, I walked out of the office. I was like, no. How about it's my reputation and I'm not doing that just for clicks. That's a no. And a no. I didn't say that to him. I just, of course. Oh, yes. I went back to just doing it the same way the next day.
Yeah, I will just tell you. So I learned that lesson in a bad way. I was instructed. I will leave all the names and everyone. Protect the innocent. I was instructed to do something, and I'm like, I don't know, man. They wanted me.
You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, and they told me to essentially. I guess let me phrase it this way. I was at a press conference. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I was at a press conference, and there was a lot of media there, not just me. And there was a back and forth between, like any normal press conference, between the media and the player.
Mhm.
And what I was instructed, like something that occurred in my recent life that I had to do for one of my jobs is they said, hey, do this. We want you to edit the press conference into an interview form, and you re-ask every question that was asked, and you did an interview with that player. And I'm like,
that's
like,
a little unethical.
and that's what I said. I was like, I don't know, man. That doesn't seem that seems messed up. And then I have to like sell, like, hey, I did this one-on-one interview, and I'm like, that's really skeezy. So I did that once, and just because I thought the higher powers should be the bosses, I was like, I better do it. And I got raked over the coals. People said, wait a second, these are the answers from this other thing, and it turned into this whole thing. So. Yeah,
live and learn, man. That's part of being a young journalist, right? Is you can make mistakes, and we do make mistakes, and hopefully you learn from your mistakes. I mean, I think that's part of who I am today is, having made mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn anything, but you don't purposefully make mistakes.
Right.
And I think you always do trust your gut and you trust your conscience. Right. And I do think, your reputation is what you have. And I think you can put a flamethrower to it if you abuse that, or you don't take that 100%. Into account, or you don't follow, dare I say, your moral compass. Hopefully you have one, so I think all those things are important, to doing this for the long term.
100%. Hey, speaking of wide receiver trade, Sean McVay confirmed this, that speaking of, the Rams apparently were interested in the A.J. Brown sweepstakes. Had they acquired A.J. Brown, they were going to trade Davante Adams out. So Sean McVay says that he told Davante when trade talks were happening and that they were legitimate and they were real. And he said he was open with him because that's the kind of coach he likes to be, is transparency with players if they could potentially be on the move. Man, Davante Adams, apparently, who knows, I guess anything could happen in the offseason. They already had talks about potentially moving him if they would have acquired a certain receiver. Who knows if that doesn't happen if a different receiver becomes available this offseason. It sounds like they're out right now on the A.J. Brown stuff, but oh my goodness, Lurch, Davante Adams was almost on the move.
And he was such a good fit there in LA.
It seemed like it, yeah.
I really liked that fit, and he was scoring all those touchdowns, a red zone weapon. Yeah. They weren't like overusing him. I know he got a little banged up at the end, right? But I mean, man, he was a great fit. McVay runs a great offense, and he knows.
It was a great compliment opposite of Puka Nacua.
Yeah, he really was, and he doesn't have to have that, and that's the thing. Like, he didn't have to have that pressure, and yet he was still so effective when they needed him to be effective. So, well, I think, again, we say this all the time in fantasy football, and I'll say it here in reality football too. Sometimes it's the trade that you don't make that's the best trade.
100%.
Splash, and I'm going to go get this guy, and they love him, and look at what he's done, and then you bring him.
Grass is greener. They think that, and then is it?
Grass is not always greener because everybody brings different problems to the table, right?
Chemistry. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Davante's just been a good fit for that team, and
it's been really good.
His ability to work. You have a veteran quarterback like Matthew Stafford, and it's like you can see those two guys almost reading each other. That's that savvy, that veteran experience that you just can't get other than from playing a lot of football. And Davante Adams has played a lot of football. So, wow. We are presented today, by the way, by our friends at Northeast Roofing Professionals, NERPCNY.com. And today's video is brought to you by our friends at Box Drop Syracuse, the mattress and sofa outlet, where you can save 30 to 70% on your mattresses, even 35 to 70 if you're a first responder, a teacher, military, active, or retired. So super duper discounts given away by Paul, the owner. It's right here in central New York off of Route 11 in North Syracuse, a great place to save money. And they have sectional sofas as well. You can save tons of money on sofas as well. So if you go on either route, at least check in with our friends at Box Drop Syracuse today. Boy Green, let's take 30 seconds. We'll learn a little bit more about Box Drop, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about Matt Miller's mock draft, and we've got some more news from the annual meetings going on as we speak in Phoenix. The NFL annual meetings, we're breaking news as it's coming in. It is NFC Day at the annual meetings. All right, we'll be back right after this.
Considering that we sleep nearly 1/3 of our lives, buying the right mattress is essential. At Box Drop Syracuse Mattress and Sofa Outlet, you'll get a unique experience, one that saves you 30 to 70% off retail prices on top-of-the-line mattresses like Sapphire Sleep. At Box Drop, you'll schedule a mattress fitting appointment and get one-on-one service directly with Paul, the owner. No middleman. Family-owned, huge savings, no-pressure sales designed to save you time and money. And now Box Drop Syracuse has sectional sofas and love seats as well, with prices designed to fit your budget. Box Drop Syracuse Mattress and Sofas. Set up your appointment today at boxdropsyracuse.com.
Finding the right local roofing company can be tricky. You don't want to hire the wrong roofers, or you could end up spending a fortune on repairs. The pros at Northeast Roofing Professionals can ensure your home is protected by a strong and sturdy roof. Locally owned and operated, over 30 years experience, free estimates, and competitively priced. Don't settle for an inexperienced roofing contractor. Turn to Northeast Roofing Professionals. Discounts for military and first responders. Reach out and let them put a sturdy roof over your head. NERPCNY.com. NERPCNY.com.
All right, we are back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Don't forget, become part of our growing subscribers by subscribing to our channel. There it is, youtube.com/at MC Show Digital. As you see in the scrolling ticker below, we're doing a little raffle of the month. We're going to do this as a monthly thing. We're giving away a Dan Aykroyd autographed harmonica and a pristine 2003 Sports Illustrated magazine, as you see below, commemorating the Syracuse Basketball National Championship back in 2003. We will hold that raffle on the 22nd of April. We'll be in the month of April in just 2 days. And all you got to do to get in on the raffle tickets thing is become a member, or you can buy memberships, or you can be an advanced level of membership and get additional tokens your way. So all the details on the screen below you. And Jamie, the FedEx guy right now, our tote board leader with 10 raffle tickets. T-Town Jet jumped in last week. He's got a couple. MFC and Big Al in the raffle as we speak. So take the time to do it. And if you want a super chat or super sticker as well, you can get in the raffle that way. $3 for each raffle ticket. And somebody's going to win that item on the 22nd of next month.
Okay, I have two things here before we get back to all the football. And there's a lot of really cool football stuff that's coming, and there's a lot of great stuff. I have a question here first on your prize you're giving away, Lurch, if I may.
Yes.
Here it is. I'm going to throw this up on the big screen. I just have a challenge flag here that I want to highlight. Yeah, challenge flag. You know, we're allowed. I don't know how it works on our system. Do I get two? And if the second one comes through, I get a third. But why the hell does Dan Aykroyd spell his name like this?
Yeah,
Aykroyd. Yeah. Like, I saw it down there, and I'm like, what? And I Googled it. I'm like, what? What? I've never realized. I'm a fan of Dan Aykroyd. I've seen him in a bunch of movies, and I'm a huge fan. I guess I've never noticed it. Yeah, Aykroyd. What the hell is this? How is this Aykroyd?
That's why you never could take anything for granted, especially when you're putting it in written form. Right. I was putting together this scrolling ticker for us this week so we could put up the tote board. And then I was like, I didn't have the Y in there, but I still wasn't exactly sure how to spell it. So, of course, I looked it up. This is what you do. And then I was like, whoa, I would not have thought that, And I was like, wow, you think all the years, I've seen many, many Dan Aykroyd movies. I was a big fan of the Blues Brothers. I mean, he's been in all kinds, Driving Miss Daisy. I mean, he's been in all kinds of stuff over the years. And I was like, wow, I've seen.
But maybe this is it, because the credits, where you'd see it, I never questioned that it would be weird. So I've just accepted it when it's scrolling the screen. I'm like, yep, there's Dan Aykroyd.
There it is,
so I haven't even given it a second glance. I think that's why. If it's a weird name, someone comes to you and they're like, my name is Josh Achuawan. I'm like, oh, I have no idea how to spell that. Let me give that a look. And then I'm cognizant of it. Dan Aykroyd, I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know a million Aykroyds, but I have a feel, Coneheads, little Conehead action. I thought, okay, maybe, but very confused. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Wow. Okay.
So, anywho, I wanted to throw that out there real quick on the whole Dan Aykroyd situation to say, I just saw it. I highlighted it. I gave it a gander, and I just wanted to know. So a couple of things real quick here, Lurch. First off, let's welcome in a new member to the Hall of Fame Club. Zay Engineer has just joined the Hall of Fame Club. We have another Hall of Famer amongst us, Manchild. Wow.
Wow, the tote board's getting light. I'm gonna have to add him in there. I have a feeling I know who that is.
I think so too now after saying it out loud. But first, oh wow, Lurch, we got to find it now because all our sound effects are in different places.
Oh, right.
This
Yeah,
is
it's got all
fun.
garbled.
Good Lord. Okay, I think this is it.
Hell yeah.
All right, you
Okay.
found it.
Okay,
And
there
definitely
you
get a
go.
video for this,
Of
for
course.
sure. Where do I want to go with this one here?
Okay.
Let's see. This is always one of my favorites. It's the old standby, as they say.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win. Win.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
What are we waiting for?
I love that. By the way, he has now added Zay Engineer K2M is now tied with Jamie with 10 raffle tickets. So terrific. He's
Congrats.
now in
Thanks
there.
for
So
supporting the channel there, Mr. Engineer.
way to go. Way to go, pal. Really appreciate
And
that.
entry perhaps into the fantasy league.
That's what
Now
that guarantees.
4 members strong among the
We have an
many
even
firsts.
number now, Lurch. So technically, if it
gotta
started
sell the
today, we could do a draft. Now, I don't normally dabble in 4 teams, not to be that guy. I'm sort of above that. I normally prefer 12 is my preferred absolute. 10 is normally the lowest I ever go. So we'll figure it out as we go through this process. Hopefully, we're
faith,
surging
man.
with members.
I got faith, baby. I got faith.
That's
I got
it.
faith in the strength of our numbers. I got faith
Yeah.
in our many viewers out
course.
there. This is a channel that's growing. We've only been
Of
out here, as I mentioned, for 7 months.
Right.
We're trying to creep our way towards 1,000 subscribers. I'm super
Yeah.
proud of the work that we've done. So,
Yes.
it's a very humbling space to come into
Oh, no
after
doubt.
you've spent, like I have, over 22 years in radio. It's a very humbling to basically go back to, okay, we're starting from scratch. We have no subscribers. Theoretically, we have no viewers, no listeners, and we've started from scratch. And it's really been cool to build something like this. So any support that anyone out there can give, of course, if you can support at the highest level, well, kudos to you. Thank you. And thank you for being generous. And we've had generous people, by the way. Number one Austrian Jets fan,
Of course.
has gifted a number of memberships in the couple of months we've been in existence. So generosity is always welcome. But if it's a much more humbler situation for you, that's cool too, man. Any support is good support. I love it, whether it's just being a subscriber, whether you can afford membership, whether you can truly support the channel in different ways. So, and again, we'll continue to work on building up all of the tenants within those memberships and making sure that we live up to all the commitments. Jamie, the FedEx guy, is on the verge of getting a prize pack for being a Hall of Fame member for multiple months. You get a nice little cool prize pack of some of the items that we have for sale in our store. So that's going to be bestowed as well upon Hall of Fame members who stick around as Hall of Fame members. So that's another perk that you get. You get some free stuff, as they say. You get some merch. Get some free merch, baby.
Yeah, two things here. First off, I did make that same sort of speech on my show this morning because someone joined, and then I saw that we have. I released a brand new intro this morning, Lurch, and that Gator has been working on behind the scenes for a while. So a brand new intro is out there in the universe, and I gave him a lot of creative control. And when I saw it, he included a lot of the people that are influenced on the show. He put them in the video. I said, "Oh, that's super cool." And it just reminded me that some people can be members, some people could just be commenters, some people are subscribers. There's a lot of different ways to support. No matter how you can, we appreciate it. But speaking of Hall of Famers, we got to go to Jamie the FedEx guy here. He's got a fantasy football question. Speaking of it, Champs Order Reveal. If you're new to this show, you may say, what does Champs Order Reveal mean? It's just a combination of word salad that means nothing to you. But in our fantasy football leagues, historically speaking, around some period of time, well before the draft, normally, we do a draft order reveal, and where you're going to pick in the draft once we get there in a bunch of months. So you can mock draft and do a lot of things. Lurch, we definitely didn't do it, or else I would have remembered hey, we'll just figure it out on draft day, like a real online draft. You just sit at your chair and boom, you're picking 4, 5, 6. So less prep time, but a better challenge to figure out your draft strategy in the moment here. So what's your answer to the order reveal that he's begging for?
when have we traditionally done it? I know we've done it around the NFL draft.
We've done it the NFL draft. We've done it the
NBA
NBA
draft
draft before, which is the end of June normally. So we've done it in a few different ways. We have, yeah.
I mean, I'm not ready for it at least until like June. My gosh, I mean, we don't even. Oh, good grief!
Yeah,
it's up to you, Paul. I just bow out on this.
Well,
thing.
here's the thing: we have 4 leagues. So if I do it for one, well, we got to quickly soon figure it out. We have to do it 4 times. So, like,
everybody seems slighted.
Right, exactly. Right. So, if we do it, we do have to figure out those other details. So
we're on the verge of having 5 leagues, so we're gonna have to do it for 5 leagues.
I mean, yeah. I mean, quite frankly, because of the Hall of Fame league, we're gonna have to have a 5th league. So Jamie, I am an advocate with you. I love fantasy football. As a matter of fact, I cracked this joke. At first, it wasn't a joke, and I said, "Oh wait, it is." I was driving to Walmart yesterday because we had to pick up some groceries and all these other things. I told my fiance, "I'm like, ooh, we got to swing by the magazine section. I need to get some fantasy football magazines." She's like, "It's March." I'm like, yeah, right. Okay, not yet. So I'm advocating for you, though, Jamie. I'm advocating.
Hey, you want some background info on the Dan Aykroyd thing here, Mark?
Oh, okay.
Jumping in with Aykroyd is an English surname that originated in Yorkshire, meaning dweller of the oak clearing. I mean, this sounds like something right out of the coach from the Survivor playbook here. Well, let's call him the oak clearer. I mean,
wow. Thank you, Mark Sacchetti. That's cool. I didn't know that. So that's great research there. And again, dweller of the oak clearing is definitely a Survivory, which again, R&R Party says he loves the Survivor shows. They're great. Well, thank you guys for supporting that. Again, in life, you sometimes take risks. You just sort of put yourself out there and you see what the response is. Me and Lurch have been massive fans of Survivor for a long time. And thus, naturally, eventually, when I took over as the quote-unquote co-host with Manchild, that was not something Bud Poliquin swam in. Those were waters he has not swam in, nor will ever swim in, quite frankly. So that was a cool new thing that could be a me and Manchild thing on the air that's different, unique, and special in some way.
Right.
So I'm glad that we brought it over.
And I said, hey, why don't we do an interview every week? With like a Survivor castaway, and we could get some kind of insider take. So it would be a guest segment. And then we went out and searched, and we ended up landing with, of all people, Brett LaBelle, who's been with us all these years. It's kind of luck of the draw. We thought every week we were going to be speaking to someone different. And then we had Brett for 1 week. And then he was like, hey, do you guys want me back next week? And we were like, you'd come back next week? And he's like, yeah, I'll come back every week. And we were like, really? Okay, you're back, and it's turned into a thing. But listen, initially on our sports radio show, there was some, moans, dare I say, from the crowd of like, oh, you're talking about Syracuse today. How come? Come on, man, there's stuff going on in baseball. You're talking about Survivor. And I said to Paul, let's stay the course for a little while. Let's see if there's an appetite for this, and let's see if there are people that appreciate it and look forward to it. So we set it in a particular time at a particular day, and we locked it in and let people know, hey, this is what we do. And on Wednesdays at 11:30 or Thursdays at 11:30, we'll be recapping the episode, and we just did it live on the show. And then obviously it eventually did grow into a success, and we got a lot of positive feedback. And then when we came into this world, we were like, why don't we just keep doing it? Now we could do it like right after the show. We don't have the
very cool
June where our radio show existed to have to worry about. We could just do it right after the show happens. Isn't that the best time to do a post-game show or a recap show? Is right after the episode ends. We get everybody's gut reaction. Like last week, I was cursing, or at least mentally cursing. I try not to curse on the air. My parents taught me wisely. But nice, but I was hot, because I wanted Charlie to get, to get revenge, and he didn't get his revenge. And instead, the guy that's kind of, dare I say, the criminal at this point, the bad guy, or at least one of the bad guys, Rizgod gets to stay around on the show, and poor Charlie had to go home. But Charlie, he didn't execute his plan well enough. He didn't double check his sources, and that's what happened. Burned on Survivor. And the fact of the matter is, Rizzo is he's a very savvy player, which is why he's so dangerous on that
Of course.
You need to get him out, and why Charlie was not nearly as dangerous, and why in the end, I think it will be a mistake to those players who kept Rizzo, because Rizzo is way more likely guy to turn on you and to get the odds in his favor versus Charlie, who has a tougher time pulling that off. So,
But I love these shows. These shows are awesome. The season 50 has been spectacular. So it's been titillating, as the YouTube short out there in the universe says. It's been titillating. So thank you, R&R, and thank you guys for all the support on all these different shows.
Fantastic stuff.
All right,
Yeah.
Lurch, you want to get
Anything else
back
in
into
the
some
combine?
football?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
some other things too. But let's do.
Well, not combine. Come on,
Okay, I
Lurch.
mean, I'm
That's
sorry,
not,
not combine. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The
Come
annual
on, we're
meeting,
way
annual
past that.
meeting. We're way
Yeah.
past. Combine.
Okay,
Sorry.
let's quickly get to two pieces here.
Mhm.
Interesting. Well, here's one of the rule proposals that's been on, and Sean McVay immediately shut it down, saying that's a 0% chance that's going to pass. And it's the draft pick rule. Right now, you're allowed to trade up to 3 years of your first round pick. So for the Jets or Giants, 26, 27, 28. That's as far as you could go. The Browns have proposed, let's go 5 years out. Let's go. You can have control of your first round picks 5 years from now. So in theory, it could open up more things, but also it could be bad. A desperate team trades their first round picks for like next 5 years. That could put them in a tough spot. But Sean McVay was asked about it on the Kay Adams show this morning. He says there's a 0% chance that goes through. If there's one thing that you can bet Vegas odds on, it's that not getting through. Lurch, I don't know if you've shared your take on this. Do you where do you at? Do you want them to be able to do this? Not want them to be able to do this? What do you think?
I don't. I mean, I don't think any. Are there rules in the NBA as far as how far out you can trade? Like,
7 years in the NBA, you're allowed to have
7
7 years out. Yeah,
7 years. I mean, I guess it makes sense to not like go to the point where you could just trade them, 50 years out. I mean, you don't even know
Right.
where the league's going to be then. So I guess
Right.
you got to have a cap on it. It's one of those things that like almost never came into play. So right now, again, the rule right now is how many?
3 years out. So
3 years.
in
and
the
the
year, so
proposal is
26, 27,
essentially
28. 5.
to move it to 5.
Yeah. And
I'm
again,
perfect. I mean, I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
yeah, I mean, there is some. It's cool because more trades is more stories and everything else for us, and that's good. But bad team that could keep bad teams bad and
That's
good
bad.
teams good.
I know.
That's the only. That's one of the hiccups. And here's the other thing: 5 years out, like I'm drafting a high school senior. I don't know what he's going to be 5 years from now. I'm going to start scouting kids in middle school to see what my 7-year first round pick out is going to be. Like I don't know. I think it's dangerous, but I'm all for the chaos. So. All right, sure. Let's mix it up. And here's another one, Lurch. There's been a lot of thoughts about this for a while, about the 18-game schedule. Robert Kraft, at his presser that he spoke with, he says he's in favor of an 18th game added to the schedule. Right now we have 17 games across 18 weeks, but he has 3 keys to it. We would remove a preseason game. Remember, back 10 years ago, we had 4 preseason games. We're now down to 3. He says go from 3 to 2, knock another one off, add that 18th game, obviously. Have a second bye week during the schedule. So instead of an 18, so if you had 18 games, you'd have a 20-week schedule. So that means Super Bowl would get pushed out even further, obviously, another week. And all 32 teams would have an international game every year. Now, before you answer or say anything, Lurch, every year I'm an NFL schedule nerd. And there's like 5 to 8 people that decide where the schedule goes every year, who they all play. Every year, my most interesting, compelling interview I do is after the schedule comes out, I get someone from the league office. I have someone at the league office I know, and they give me one of the people in the room that decides, and they come on my show, and we go deep on the schedule and talk about all cool. Like he would, like for instance, last year he said the Jets-Steelers game that opened the season was going to be Monday Night Football, but we didn't know if Aaron Rodgers was going to come back or not, so we just put it at 1:00 to be safe. He says, so he gave this cool nugget. It would have been Monday Night Football. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. So all these other things that come out. And anywho, I can't remember if he told me this on air or off air, but he said that their plan, the league's plan, is that everyone has an international game built into their schedule, and that's global expansion. And that it wouldn't be every year we're wondering, are we going to be in London or Germany? You would know every year you're being in some foreign land for global expansion. So that part I know is absolutely true. Yeah.
And is it this year that there's going to be an Australia game?
There is, right? We're going to have Wednesday Night Football to kick off the season for the first time ever because of the high school rules.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to have a Wednesday game, a Thursday game, no Friday game because of the weirdness. There's rules. You know probably better than any of us, Lurch, the broadcasting rules for Friday Night Lights, and you're not allowed to do at certain times. But because of how the schedule sets up this year, the NFL is barred from broadcasting a game on that Friday night. So they're adjusting with an Australia game to kick off the season. So we're all over the place here. So are you for
jet lag? Oh my
exactly.
God.
Which, by the way, they have to play that game at 10 a.m. in the morning to compensate time for us, which will be a Wednesday night. So crazy. Okay, so a couple of things here. Are you for an 18-game schedule? And if so, are these rules that Kraft has laid out to make that happen good enough to acquiesce to the players to make it viable?
It's not about whether I'm for or against it because it's inevitable.
I think so too. I think when the NFL wants something, they get it, and they want this badly. If you're the NFLPA, you got to fight for something good. If they want this so bad, you better get a good piece of pie the other way.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter what my opinion is because it's going to happen.
Okay.
There at some point in the somewhat relatively near future, there are going to be 18
I agree.
games. And to be honest with you, an even amount of games just makes way more sense than an odd amount of games.
That's also
Why
true
should you
too.
ever have a season where we're home 8 times this season. Next year, we're only home 7 games. Like, it should always be balanced home and road. That's always the way it's been for the most part. That's the way it should be. So even makes sense. And what Kraft is saying there makes sense. So you have one less preseason game. Okay, that takes away a little bit of wear and tear from that potential. All right, and that opens it up for an 18th. I want to say this is where you need to stop, but I just don't know. I thought that at 14. I thought that at 16. I knew when we went to the weird 17 that it was going to get to 18 because it's just too weird. Every other jump was 2 more games, a home and an away, a home and an away. And then they got to this odd one. I'm like, oh, come on, this is just going to be a transition period. So I can't believe we're at 18, which makes me think that 20 is
we're at 17
out there.
We're at 17.
No,
right
I'm saying if you went to this, you're at 18.
Right. Yes.
You're at 18. So 20 almost seems inevitable. It's such a nice round.
Right. Because then they just keep knocking off the preseason games. If that part of the rule is we were at 4, now we're currently right now in this moment in time at 3. They're like, yeah, all right, let's knock it down to 2. And then they're like, you know what? Let's just get rid of the preseason. 20 regular season games and no preseason. Like, yeah, it does feel like that's happening.
I'll tell you, all the fans who pay for season tickets to go to those preseason games for the coaches that play nothing but
same
the scrubs,
price.
Pretty happy. All right. Yeah. They'll be pretty happy when that happens, when it goes to 20 and there's no preseason. Yeah. Right. But 18 is inevitable. And I think what do you think? But I thought what Kraft has crafted here makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. It's okay. That's the latest happenings. There's more coaches and GMs and everybody speaking, but I think we got to the main bulk of everything that's being discussed.
All right. That's pretty cool. A couple of news and notes I wanted to cover as well. A former Bills player, which is why we're bringing up particularly on this show, AJ Epinesa, who had signed a contract or was about to sign a contract for $5 million for a single season with the Browns, an edge rusher. Unfortunately, the team is uncomfortable because of a physical. So he did a physical. They don't love the results, and they are not going to sign this deal. So AJ Epinesa is back out there in the ethos for the Bills to bring him back, or for someone else to take him, or for someone else to give him a physical and see if they think that it's as bad as the Browns thought it was. So that deal that looked like it was going to be a done deal, again, you got to go through this process. Not a done deal. Back on the table is AJ Epinesa.
I feel terrible for AJ. We saw him at Bill's training camp last year. We're going to talk to him, but he was swarmed by fans, and rightfully so, to get autographs and everything. And I was like, that's not happening when we were there as media doing some interviews. And it sucks for AJ because he agrees to this deal with the Browns. And again, nothing's official till you get it on paper. But, he didn't agree to a deal with the Browns yesterday. This guy's been sitting there for days thinking he's going to be a Brown, and other teams are spending money. So AJ thinks he has a deal with the Browns. He doesn't. So he's sort of getting screwed here. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to be in the league this year, but now he's going to have to probably take a lesser deal and allow someone to pass a physical. As we heard with the Max Crosby situation, everyone's doctors are different. So failing a physical with the Browns doesn't necessarily mean he can't pass with the Jets or a different team. So he's definitely going to be on a team, but man, that sucks for him. He's probably not going to get $5 million now to prove himself. So hopefully it goes to a good spot. If I'm Buffalo, that makes a lot of sense just to bring a guy back for cheap if that's what he wants to do. But hell, if I'm the Jets, I'd be interested in some AJ Epinesa action, especially because you could get him at a discount. But obviously you got to clear out the medicals.
Yeah, I would agree, but I think he would be good at a discount. I think he's a very serviceable player, very serviceable, definitely a rotational player for sure. And he was doing that in Buffalo. The Giants made some money, Boy Green, or freed up some money today. Finally, it happened. A lot of Giant fans were wondering, why isn't this a done deal or whatever? But they freed up $4.5 million in cap space by cutting their kicker. Graham Gano is now officially no longer a member of the Giants, and that frees up another $4.5 million in cap space. So my goodness, that was a lot of money sitting on the books.
Yeah, apparently I just heard there was just a tweet about this, that the reason why the Giants didn't cut him immediately, because to your point, fans are like, what the hell is taking so long? We signed Jason Sanders, the Dolphins kicker. We got our new kicker. Get the hell out of here, Gano.
Got a new kicker, we got a new punter, we got a new long snapper, we got an entire new special teams, Boy Green. John Harbaugh's completely revamped the special teams.
Even a new special teams coordinator at that, too. So, I mean, it was a full reboot. Apparently, they had to wait for him to get – this is the most bizarre thing. You had to wait for him to get healthy enough to cut, because if you cut an injured guy while he can't pass a physical, there's certain injury guarantees he would have been awarded. So you're like, hey, buddy, get healthy. Hey, can you come in the building real quick? Yeah, we just need to bring you through a routine physical. Oh, you're healthy? Get out. You're fired. Like, oh, how slimy is that, right? I'm at my house just chilling. I don't think anything's coming in. They're like, hey, can you swing by the building real quick? Sure, I guess. Like, is it the George Costanza thing where you could sort of like avoid the situation so that it potentially doesn't happen? Could Gano have just stayed home so he couldn't have been fired? I don't know. But anywho, apparently that's it. There's a lot of extracurricular activity involved.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay. So
here's a random Bills one just coming in, Lurch. Let me get the money on this. Dalton Kincaid's 5th-year option was just picked up. It's for $8.1 million. So that means he's under contract for the 2026 and 2027 season. That just coming into the Bills officially picked it up. They had until the first week of May. So they had a significant chunk of time, but they're just deciding to get ahead of it, and they're picking up that option. That is a fully guaranteed option, but as you saw with the Jets this offseason, the Jets picked up the option of Jermaine Johnson last year, then traded him. So that still opens up the possibility if they want to move him or do something, but it does ensure you're under contract for the next 2 years. That just coming in seconds ago from our buddy Sal Capaccio.
Well, look, he's a good player, and the Bills should keep him. His issue has been injuries and trying to stay healthy. So hopefully they can get him healthy this offseason, because he can be a difference maker at the tight end. I think he's a rock solid tight end, and they've got some other nice complementary pieces around him. They brought back Knox, right? I remember reading that.
Yes, they reworked his deal and gave him an extension, but it was sort of a
nice
pay cut.
bookends. Those two guys are nice bookends. They're complementary to each other in a lot of ways. So that's a good, solid, and he's, you have that chemistry with the quarterback. There's a nice chemistry between Josh Allen, and you hate to be, tweaking those tight ends all the time. So, well, the boy Kenyon Sadiq, I mean, somebody's, again, I don't know, man. He is, these tight ends are always, are they going to be great? We thought, Pitts was going to be like, Pitt was going to be like this crazy, Kyle Pitts was just going to be crazy right out of the box, and it's taken him a few years. And now it looks like maybe he's starting to, find his place in the NFL. But, boy, Sadiq looks so good. Ooh, he could be a juicy pick for somebody that, is sitting in the middle of that first round that needs something. As a matter of fact, going back over for a minute. One more thing, and then we'll go back over to Matt Miller's draft a little bit, and we could just talk about some of the selections, have a little fun with that before we get out of here today. The 49ers injury conspiracy. Boy Green, have you been reading up on this story? This is right out of.
I'm going to be honest. You give us you're a lead, our starting pitcher on this one. I've just heard loosely substation, health, safety. That's why free agents weren't coming. And I'm like, what in the world is going on over there? So like, I haven't done a deep dive into the pool, but I've just heard about the weirdness of it. So feel free, give us the deets.
Yeah, let me give you some of the deets. This is a great story. I'm taking this right out of Nick Wagner's story on ESPN. So let me give Nick some credit for these words, but I'm going to read some of his words here. All right. So look, a few days after the San Francisco 49ers season ended, General Manager John Lynch vowed to investigate anything and everything that might have contributed to the team's avalanche of injuries in 2005. All right. And this included, Boy Green, a viral online theory that an electrical substation near the team's training facility at Levi's Stadium was having some kind of adverse effects on the players. Yes, this is true, Boy Green, right out of the conspiracy theory textbook. All right.
Okay.
Speaking Sunday afternoon at the annual meetings, that's yesterday, Lynch ruled out the substation theory and provided tangible steps the team is taking to attempt to reduce future injuries. All right. Now listen to this. This is where it gets. This is so fascinating to me. This is where it gets, dare I say, for anyone that's a Survivor fan, Christian-like. Okay. Everybody knows Christian from Survivor, the kind of the tech geek. All right. Scientific dude. All right. Even I got my glasses on just to look a little more like Christian this morning. All right. According to Lynch, the 49ers hired an independent scientist to study the substation and see whether there was anything to the idea that the facility could be contributing to their injuries.
Lynch's response, it was basically, I quote, a big nothing burger. We're in a safe place. It's a normal place of work. It's a normal gym. We are safe, we are healthy, and we are feeling really good about that. This was important to us, not to just turn a blind eye to this conspiracy theory, but to look into it because of our players' wellness, and not only our players' wellness, but our coaches, our staff, and all that. So it's encouraging, I guess, that they got these results. All right. So look, I give them credit, because a lot of times, you just laugh this stuff off, but
Right.
we have found out things like, being near power lines creates cancer clusters and, long-term effects of that. All right. Like that's been a proven scientific thing. So who knows? There's some power substation down the block.
I guess.
Listen to this. Like here's some of the technical mumbo jumbo. I just love this. Like this is just so cool and scientific. According to the Niners, the scientist whose name and affiliation was not made available, and whom the team has said has over 45 years, Boy Green, of experience studying electromagnetic fields.
This has to be Bill Nye the Science Guy, I guess.
Yes. He was given access to the entire facility. He then used lab grade equipment, I would hope so, to read the electromagnetic output and took measurements in any space that players occupy when at the facility. Those readings, according to the 49ers, showed that the facility was 400 times below the threshold of what would be considered to be an unsafe working environment. The facility, according to the scientist, had exposure levels similar to what you'd find in a typical workplace or a commercial gym, and a person would get a higher exposure level from a vacuum cleaner, a hairdryer, or a microwave oven than they were getting in this facility. So there's some of the technical mumbo jumbo behind it, but they did do a scientific study and got like a real science geek in there to take a look at this as a potential, situation. Wow, holy camole! Crazy.
I'm going to be honest. So I heard all this and I was surprised. So I heard John Lynch's comments saying, we looked into it, brought in a scientist, an independent scientist, and he did his business like that. They verified, because it just sounded like one of those wild Twitter conspiracy theories, and that's it. But that the 49ers actually gave it breath and looked into it like, hey, God bless. If perception is reality, Lurch, and even if this was a bunch of nonsense, if any 49ers player or free agents I don't know, I heard about that weird substation thing. Like, if you're the 49ers, you just want to kill it and say, hey, look, clearly this is all malarkey. So it makes sense to look into it, and they have billions of dollars. They have money to blow on a scientist to show up for a day or 2 days, wherever the hell the long this took to go through it. But, man, that is insane. I did not have that on the bingo card, Lurch. Electrical substation emissions.
Electromagnetic pulses, yes.
Wow, okay.
Wafting through the air.
Unbelievable.
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah, very.
Oh my goodness. All right. We got a couple minutes before we get out of here, BG. You want to do a little bit on the Miller draft? So
yeah, sure.
Matt Miller from ESPN did a mock draft, and he did all 7 rounds. So we literally have Miller's pick for the Jets and the Giants all the way through the entire draft. I don't think it doesn't look like, I didn't go through like every single pick with a fine tooth comb, but it doesn't look like any trades were made here. I think he just
probably for the best.
Probably for the best
with this many picks.
Throwing trades into the mix. But he did put together every pick. So I think just because we're Jets Giants guys, maybe we can do a little bit on each. You've got how many picks? The Giants have 8 picks.
We have 9.
3 of them in the 6th round. And none in the 3rd round. And we also don't have any 7th round picks. We moved up into the 6th and the 7th. Various trades that we made. And you have 9 picks?
We have 9. 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, no 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, no 6th, and then a 7th round pick.
Okay. So I'm going to point out the Giants picks. You can vamp in on the Jets picks. We can kind of maybe do both back and forth. Maybe
Let's go.
Just talk about what Miller thought here and whether we agree, disagree or not. And then I've flagged just a couple here or there that I just want to mention along the way that I was like, whoa, talk about good value there, or something interesting that I saw, at least in the early rounds. You get into the later rounds and, there's not a lot of surprises because it's just so dicey as to what's actually going to happen. All right. So since you picked first, Boy Green, any surprises there from Miller with the Jets at pick number 2?
No, Arvell Reese. He's the betting favorite. If you go to Vegas and you see the favorites, he's the betting favorite to be the pick. I think that's exactly what the Jets are going to do with the number 2 overall pick, Ohio State defender. I'll make sure I try for everyone that's listening in that may not be glued into the draft to say school, position, name, all that jazz. But yes, Ohio State defender. And I call him defender because he can play off-ball linebacker and pass rusher, and he's going to be sort of a do-it-all man. So no surprise there. Matt Miller nailed that part.
One surprise that Miller had right off the top of the board at the number 3 pick is that and not that it's a shock or a surprise. I mean, this guy's a great player, and I think he's going to go high in the draft. How high, it really, I think, just depends on how teams put in terms of where teams put positional value. But he had Mauigoa, the offensive tackle from Miami, going number 3 to Arizona. So that, again, frees up another defensive player here for teams that are interested in defense. And then we've been seeing a lot of mocks lately, Boy Green, with Tennessee taking Jeremiah Love at number 4, and Miller did the same thing here. So I guess I'm not shocked or surprised by that. Again, is the positional value worth it at number 4 for a player like Love? We were just debating it earlier. I think it makes some sense. And it does feel like a lot of people are mocking, Tennessee Love. I'm seeing it over and over and over again. I don't know if it's just because us pundits are in love with Love like I am, or whether or not that's a real thing that Tennessee is just like, we need a running back and this guy is really good and we want him. And he's worth every dime at number 4.
Yeah, and I would just say on the Cardinals thing, because I don't think everyone sees this when they see the Cardinals doing a mock draft, but, they have Paris Johnson Jr., who's awesome, but they need a tackle opposite of him, and Francis Mauigoa. I don't know if I would take him 3rd overall, but if you're the Cardinals, you're like, do we force square peg into round hole? We need a tackle. Let's get a tackle, as opposed to just taking a defender who is probably the best player available on the board. So this is where you get that need versus what's BPA. Right. Need BPA. And Cardinals here, I think, forcing need more than BPA.
Yeah, and again, if you look at, the Cardinals' trajectory, maybe they're looking quarterback next year, which is quote, supposed to be a quarterback-rich draft. We'll see. And then you have your bookend tackles to bring your quarterback into a nice situation to bring a young quarterback into. So, theoretically, it's not the worst thing that the Cardinals could potentially do here. Whether they'll go that way, I'm not sure. So now that leaves the Giants on the board, and Miller has the Giants taking Caleb Downs at number 5. Again, some juicy opportunities here, but Love not there. So the Giants obviously not going to go running back there if Love is off the board. And I suppose Sonny Styles, if you think highly of him, you would think maybe, could the Giants go that direction instead? But he hasn't taken Downs. I hear great things about Downs. What I've seen on tape looks good with Caleb Downs. Is it worth taking a safety at 5? I'm going to offer, as we move down through this round and get a little closer or closer to just past where the Jets pick, what the Giants could potentially do. I've had some thoughts. Remember,
the players they passed on.
Remember when we mocked, I traded down to 7.
Yeah.
All right. And then took Downs at 7, which I felt a little better about. So I might have an alternate suggestion here for the Giants potentially that could benefit them give them some more. But here's the thing too that I just want to say as a caveat. Like, we can have all the fun in the world with these mocks. The fact of the matter is that, everybody always wants to trade down. There's a lot of teams that are going to want to trade down. And that doesn't leave too many takers when everyone's looking to trade down. Who's looking to trade up? You got to find that perfect partner, and it's a lot easier said than done. So we all go, hey, let's trade down and get tons of value. Everybody wants to trade down and get tons of value if they feel like they can get their player 10 picks later, 20 picks later, 30 picks later. Why wouldn't you do that? Of course you're going to do it. But it's hard to do because everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's feeling the same way. There are more teams typically looking to trade down. Okay, and they're
that up. Correct.
Or looking to go up and grab that one player that they desperately need to fill out their roster. So it's just something to be aware of. So I'm okay with Caleb Downs there. I took him at 7 in our mock. He's taken at 5 here. I'm still exploring a little bit. Who I think is that dynamic player that the Giants should get no matter what, or what's that very, very short list. Right now, he's still on that list for me. So I guess I'd have to say yes.
2 things. First off, number 1. You have to check out the knee. There was a medical report that came out from a reporter that he has a degenerative knee issue, and that it may not be a problem right now, but could be a problem and shorten his overall career. So again, if you're the Giants, you have to do your homework there. And secondly, our number 1 Austrian Jets fan, baby, has just entered the octagon. Let's frickin' go.
Get him on the tote board now.
Hell yeah.
We will.
Tote board light again. That's immediately two raffle tickets to our raffle.
Okay, will do.
And so we'll put him on the tote board for 2. Thank you for that,
Yeah.
Austrian. Always so generous. We really appreciate it. Hello across the pond, as they say.
Do they say that for people in Austria?
Yeah, that's across the pond. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
across
I've
the-
heard
you know
that more
what
like
the
a
pond is,
London
Green,
thing.
right?
Well,
it
no,
is.
I'm aware
You
it's
do
the
hear it right. You do hear it
That's
for
what I'm
England.
saying. Yeah, I'm
We're
not
across
questioning the
pond.
body of water. No, I'm aware of the water. I'm
there's-
just
there's
saying.
still a pond between us and
Well, I
Austria.
guess-
Both.
okay,
Yes, there's
okay,
still a
all
pond.
right,
You know, it
sure.
is still part of Europe. You know,
Okay,
it is still,
yes.
you know, it's still part of that
Okay.
continent over there.
Touche. So,
so yes,
number one
still
Austrian
across the
Jet
pond.
fan. Yeah, he's officially on the board, tied with T-Town Jet. Has 2 raffle tickets to our contest, but play a video lurch for him.
Oh yeah, let me play a cool video. All right.
Come
Back into the way back time machine here. All right. How about this one?
Just a bit outside.
There you go. By the way, that membership went to Addison. Shout out to Addie, a Boy Green Coffee Club member.
Yeah,
Shout out to
welcome aboard.
Addison,
Welcome
who's
aboard.
now dove in. And again, for those who don't know, gifting memberships, when you gift, you don't get to pick who it goes to. It goes to the first people they pick are the most active people on the channel. And
Right.
they go through that, and then it's at random beyond that. So shout out to Addison getting one, and Austrian, you got 2 raffle tickets to the contest. Appreciate it.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, man. So the tote board continuing to grow.
Let's
It'll
go.
be cool raffle. We'll give away these items on the 22nd of April. 22 is my favorite number. You'll learn that by viewing the show. I always am talking about the crazy 22s and crazy things happen to me on the 22nd and so on and so forth. I don't know. It's weird stuff going on in my family. My mother's number is 37 and my number is 22.
37 is weird, but I'm gonna be honest. I haven't heard it beyond. Like, I haven't heard someone say my favorite number is like 86.
Yeah.
Like,
It is a very random.
It's normally like, I don't know if I draw the line inside a month, like 31 days and in, like, I don't know if that's like my number is 25. There was my jersey number in high school. So it's just my daughter was born on the 25th. Like, so there's a lot of magic to the 25, but you know, shout out to your mother for 30.
I'll bring my mom on one day. We'll do a video conference with her, and she can explain to you the 50 reasons why 37 is so important to her. Okay,
but it feels like she does some reaches. You've told some stories like,
yes.
37. Wow,
my family has
today's
a ball.
the 5th Tuesday, and it's 3:00. 235 is 37. Wait, what? So I've heard a few of the
biggest thing is that anytime I'm down there, okay.
Yeah.
Sitting in the kitchen with her, we're having some lunch, you know, or
Yeah.
over breakfast. A lot of times I go
Yeah.
down. I'm the breakfast maker, so I'll make eggs for
Yeah.
everybody or whatever we
Yeah.
eat, French toast.
Oh, nice.
All right,
Okay.
I'm a big breakfast cooker. That's the one
Okay.
thing the one
Love
meal I cook. Every other meal I'm
Okay,
a
very
disaster.
nice.
But you know, I got to cook a burger. You know, but I'm not
Gotcha.
a chef by any means. But breakfast I enjoy, and
Okay.
I've learned to make, you know, some fairly reasonable breakfast items.
Yeah.
So I cook breakfast, and so, you know, and we'll sit. My mom has a nice eat-in kitchen, and we'll sit in the eat-in kitchen. And inevitably, sometime during that breakfast, sometime during that lunch, she'll look over to, you know, the many different digital clocks that she's got, one on a microwave, one on a wall, whatever, and she'll say, "Oh my God!"
Mhm.
I'll be like, "What?" She's like, "It's 8:37. Look at the time." I'm like, "Mom, that happens once an hour." I mean, like every hour has a 37, 9:37, 10:37. I mean, we hang around long enough, Boy Green, it'll be 12:37. As a matter of fact, maybe we should go out the door right at 12:37.
Okay, 5 minutes to go. Right.
That's it. We're out of here. My mother is she's just spookily freaky about it. And even with my family kind of joking with her, like, Mom, come on. You know, like, let's not, you know, but there are many other things too. But it's like she's always looking for the signs, and they're out there for her. And God bless the woman. I mean,
Sure.
out loud. I mean, she's, you know,
Why should I crap on that parade? That's a good point. Yeah, you know.
88 years old, or she's
Wait,
going to be 80. She's either 88 or going to be 88 this year.
Okay.
So I mean,
Nice.
yeah, Mom is, you know, and you'll be amazed if we have Mom on. You'll be like, how the hell could Lurch's mother be 88? I mean, she is a wonder.
I've never met her. I've never
Is
had
a
the pleasure.
wonder. She is sharp as a tack. You
Yeah.
know, she is, you know, fit as a fiddle for somebody 88 years old. So yeah, she's a wonder. She's an
Which, by the way, shout out Envelet says, I love 86. Let's go, Mets. Okay, you know what? You know what?
86.
Football jersey numbers. You know, a fan of many. Okay, I returned the take. It was a terrible take. I back it up. Okay, 37, 86, 74, 99, whatever the hell number you want. It's all yours. I
86
apologize.
a Giants championship year as well. So there you go.
There you go.
1986.
That's old magic. There you
86 and 90. You know, it's always stick.
Okay.
7-11.
go.
7-11.
Sure. Yep,
You
that's
know,
right. The Giants years.
You got to know your numbers with your teams. You got to know your numbers. All
That's
you need
true.
to know is 69. You're good. You know, just got one number to remember. It's just
It,
easy.
it makes it a little
You gotta
easier.
get-
Yeah.
You got to pile a few more on there. You know, then you
Okay.
then that
I'll let
conversation
them know that. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Why is I love 86 because the Mets then Levette is jumping in here
I have
saying
no thoughts.
Great
Thank you
thoughts
very
on Bill
much.
Buckner. Bill Buckner.
I have no thoughts on
69.
Bill Buckner that I would like to share on this show. Actually, no, thank you.
Hey, hold on. Hold on. I'm just gonna mute my video. For a
Here
second.
we
I
go.
got something
Yeah.
for you, boy. I got something.
Oh,
for you.
great.
Hold on.
I don't want it. Whatever this is, nope. I'm fairly certain I don't want whatever this is. And then we're probably going to get a Manchild play-by-play. I've got no thoughts in which I want to share about Bill Buckner, but thank you. M. Villette 4910. I appreciate that. That's very sweet and endearing. By the way, as Manchild's grabbing his prop, whatever this is, I'm sure this is going to be great. We have 200 people in the room, so make sure you guys again like the video and hit subscribe here on the MC Show digital channel and the Boy Green channel. We appreciate it, no matter where you are. No, please, Manchild. What gift have you bestowed upon?
Boy Green, how many raffle tickets would you buy if I put this ball up for auction?
I would give negative raffle tickets.
That is Bill Buckner's autograph on that ball right there. I'm trying to get it turned the right way.
Oh yeah, let's full screen because it's hard to see too. So let's see. Yep, turn it the other way, Lurch. Up, right there. Stop. Yeah, there you go.
That is indeed Bill Buckner's autograph. I got that myself. He
Shout
was
out.
in town here at Syracuse, checking out
Oh,
the
very nice.
Syracuse Mets minor league organization, and Buckner came in at
That's
town and
lovely.
autographed a bat, a little mini bat, and a ball for me, and I got it.
Yeah, yeah. I would.
That was very nice. I didn't like talk about the '86 Mets or anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so-
I will tell you
He
this.
is, by the way, or
Yeah.
was. He's no longer with us. He was a really, really nice man. A nice man to meet, and you actually could have kind of, dare I say, that fun conversation with him, and he could chuckle about it and laugh about it. A good, really good dude. And it's so unfortunate. I mean, fortunate for us Met fans that he made that terrible mistake, but so unfortunate that had to be the thing that his name is stuck to the most, because he was a terrific ball player. You know, he really was a terrific ball player, and he doesn't deserve that one thing to stick to him forever. It's really.
Can you confirm this? Philly Noodle is asking, isn't that the ball that went between his legs?
That could be. I wish that thing's worth a few.
Yeah.
I don't know where that ball is. You know, that's another one.
It's got to be in like some museum somewhere, I would assume. But
Probably.
maybe it's some swanky collector has it, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I would actually pay you money to never talk about that ever again. That's actually
What I should have done, right, if I was really cruel, is I would have said, hey, Bill, before you autograph the ball, could you just get down like you're going to field one and just let it roll through right through your legs? Just let it roll through. Just let that, and then I could say this is a ball that went right through Bill Buckner's legs, but I wasn't going to do that.
Well,
A
you've
cruel Met
seen.
fan might have done that.
Okay, you've seen A Christmas Story, right?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay, you know when
Philly Noodles wants that ball, by the way. All right, Philly. Well, we'll see.
yeah,
what
there you
can
go.
do.
Well, a future raffle, I guess.
That could be a ball that could be up in a future raffle.
Okay,
you know,
there
that
you
could
go.
be up in a future raffle. That's a
Who's the-
possibility.
Okay, it's Ralphie, and what's the little brother? Randy. Okay,
Yeah.
so you know the little brother. There's Ralphie and Randy. Well, Randy, like, so that house is like a museum. Basically, you could go there and see all the things and go through it all. And I guess Randy still sort of almost works there as a guy that sort of tours you around and tells stories from the movie and stuff and goes around.
Okay.
And this is incredibly sad, but if you pay him an amount of money, he will go inside the cabinet like the movie, and
Wow.
you can take a picture. And I'm like, oh God, geez, Alou. My
Wow.
father goes to this museum place because my mother's a big fan of the movie. And he says, while they're
Get in
doing
there. Get in there, man. That's so big, Paul. Get in there. Man.
He says, hey, get in there and do it. And the guy goes, he gets down and goes in there. And then he's like, he asked my dad, do you want to take a picture? He says, no, I just wanted you to get in there. Here's the money. What a jerk. What a jerk. Oh my God. And he made Randy get into that cabinet and not take the picture just for his own like chuckle and satisfaction of him doing it, which is sick.
Goodness
messed up.
gracious. Did Philly Noodles wants to know how about him putting his tongue on the pole?
Yeah, I know, right? Does he do that? Does he like, hey, in the wintry months of Ohio, like, drive down to a pipe and I'll God, that poor guy. That's tough. That's tough. And apparently this, just because we're beating up on Randy here. So my dad told me this story while they were all there. He was touring with a bunch of other people, and someone in the group said, "Hey, Randy, I don't know what his. I guess I should pull up whatever his Christmas story cast. What's his real name? Oh yeah, so it's Ian Petrella. Okay, so Ian. A woman asked Ian, "Hey, why weren't you in any other movies?" And like, and my dad in his head is like, well, obviously, don't you think he would have wanted to be in more movies? He didn't get cast. It was it. That was the whole shish kebab. So that woman, what a jerk. And he's like, yeah, my dad didn't tell me what his response was outside of uncomfortable. Yeah, let's just keep the tour going. Why do you think I'm here in this house doing this tour, lady? Yeah, it's neither here nor there. Anywho, yeah. Good Lord. Random story.
Oh, good Lord is right. My goodness.
By the way, do you think Bill would have done that if you gave him some amount of money to let the ball go through between his legs? Would he have done that?
I doubt it. That would have been crossing a line, I think. But,
yeah, probably.
Like I said, he's a very, very nice man. I think a prideful, was a prideful man too.
Sure, right. Yeah.
Had a great baseball career. And like I said, I think it's unfortunate that is, when you mention his name, that's what most people think of, but it's, his career was so much better than that one moment. So,
wow. I can't believe he's been dead for 7 years. It was back in 2019. Wow. Okay. I thought it was more recent.
So you're not getting his autograph anymore.
No, which there you go. A future prize, perhaps. On the channel.
That ball gets more and more valuable as the days goes on. Hey, you want to talk about all right. One more off camera here. Just one more cool thing. You just got me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. There you go. Again, 200 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video. We're streaming live in 3 different places. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. I'm on my Twitter account, @BoyGreen25. And we're on the MC Show Digital channel. Again, youtube.com/MC Show Digital. And help us continue to grow. Let me see what we're up to. Are we still at 830? So hit that subscribe button, folks, if you haven't already. Help us grow. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here on the MC Show Digital channel. Yep, still at 830. Go ahead, Lurch. What's up?
So, and not that I'm a massive collector of autographed baseballs. I mean, I have a few, but I'm not a massive collector, and I don't have like a trophy case where I keep autographed baseballs. But I have a couple of cool ones.
All right.
Some of which I probably will never part with, or will just hand down to my son or somebody in my family.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
But this one is incredibly. So you talk about people that are no longer with us. You just mentioned Bill Buckner, and I have that Bill Buckner autograph ball. This is another ball with a guy that's no longer with us, and this is one of the most unique, unusual autographs you'll ever get. Okay, which is why I'm like, do I give this ball away? Is this a future raffle item or not? Like, would I do it? Would I do it?
All right.
There's almost nothing I wouldn't do for the channel in a lot of ways, but
wow.
like, I don't know, man. This one's just kind of unique. Okay.
Okay.
So on the front end here, I mean, it just looks like an ordinary minor league baseball.
Yeah. Let me see.
Like, something, dare I say, is kind of
there's something funky about it, but yeah,
like the cover is coming off the ball.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So you say like, okay, well, what's that other than a dilapidated baseball? Well,
right.
It's a lot more than a dilapidated baseball. Because the other side of it is an autograph of a guy that is also no longer with us.
Okay.
He is not a baseball guy, but he is an absolute legend in the world of wrestling.
Okay? Wrestling?
Any idea who autographed this ball before I reveal it, Boy Green?
I have.
The fact that the ball is, dare I say, somewhat, shredded mangled, give you any sense of who might have autographed this ball before I show you this very unique autograph.
So I wasn't a part of the show whenever you did something with this individual. So I know nothing.
Yes, you remember.
I know nothing about this person's connection with baseball at all. So I maybe there's no
coming in, by the way. If anyone wants to throw a guess in the comments, Owen Hart, incorrect, but good guess.
Okay, yeah, who is no longer with us. Yeah, who is no longer with us.
There's something to be said about why this ball is somewhat dilapidated as to who autographed the other side that I'm about to show you.
All right. Well, I will just guess. I'll throw this name out there. I know that this person, this wrestler, has a history of the show in some form or fashion. I'm going to go George the Animal Steele.
It is George the Animal Steele. All right.
Okay. But I don't know why.
He literally chewed this ball, open, so to speak. Remember how he used to bite the turnbuckles all the time? All right. Yeah. So this ball, he threw this ball out as a first pitch at the minor league game here in Syracuse.
Okay.
And then, as usual, you throw out the first pitch and then they give you the ball.
Yeah.
All right. And then he took the ball and he, George the Animal Steele.
What
He's
the
tear apart
hell?
the turnbuckle and then spit it out all over his face, right?
Okay.
So and now he's holding up the ball. This is after he's thrown the pitch and people are going crazy at the ballpark. He grabs the ball and he starts mangling it. All right. And then the next thing you know, it's all he's like showing it. Right. All right. So he's ripped it open with his mouth. And there is George's autograph. It goes across. Of course, George, not the smartest guy in the world. So written in print.
Oh, wait,
George
let me. Yeah.
right across the ball there. Right.
Oh,
George.
wow. Look at that autograph, too.
That
is
his autograph, no longer with us. And also, what a very, very nice but strange man, George the Animal Steel. And I have this very unique collector's item. That's a very, very cool.
So, by the way, here is George the Animal Steel.
There you go.
Doing exactly that. How did you get? Maybe I missed that. How did you get your hands on the ball?
He gave it to me. After he threw out the first pitch at the game, he came on the show.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And I guess it was the next morning we had him in.
All right. Okay.
And he brought the ball with him from the game. And I said, hey, I heard you threw out the first pitch yesterday. And, he grunted, he was like half grunt, half regular person. It was very interesting interviewing him. At times he was like, yeah, because as a wrestler, he was just
in character. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Character. And he didn't really speak. He just muttered and mumbled and made faces. Remember, he was chasing the beautiful Elizabeth around the ring.
Right.
So anyway, but he did come to do an interview, so he broke character, dare I say. And he's actually a very, very bright, smart guy. I had lunch with him afterwards, and he was like, it was one of the most fascinating, interesting conversations I've ever had.
How did it come up, like the baseball? I'm just curious. So what happened?
He brought it with him. I said, so I heard you out at the ballpark, and he just reached into his pocket and, pulled the ball out. And he said, I threw out this first pitch ball. And, as you can tell, I took a hunk out of it. And I was like, yeah, that's right in character. And we probably showed talked about, this picture that you're showing right here.
Yeah, right.
Rip apart and eat the turnbuckles in the ring and then spit them out all over the place and get it all over his hairy body. And so he is a very strange acting man. That is some character that he
all right.
put.
So he pulls out the baseball.
Yeah. And so he's holding it and he says, if you guys want to, you guys can have it. And I was like,
oh, he just randomly says that? Oh,
my
God. Wow.
He said, I'll even autograph it for you. And so, the ball was already ripped and he had the ball. It wasn't autographed. And then he wrote the autograph on there and handed it to me. I was like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever got.
Wow.
And is that ever going to happen again? So that was really cool.
Hey. Where has this been for all these years? Where's it just
have it in a box? I mean,
Okay.
Like I told you, I don't have like a trophy case or a mantle.
I guess that's
where
true.
I keep all these things, but
you would. That would be nice. With that, a picture of him, chewing the turnbuckle, like the picture we just had. Like that'd be a unique. That'd be a conversation starter coming to the house. What the heck? And let me tell you, George Animal Steel. Like that's a whole story. Wow.
Yeah, I'll bring it to the Wednesday show or for a future show. It'd take me a few minutes to find it, but he took some pictures with me and Bud.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Oh,
Bud was on the show back then when he was on with us.
Yeah.
And one of the pictures he took both of us and put us in a headlock. Right.
Oh, cool.
And then like we all made like faces.
Yeah, right.
And then he was like did that crazy face that you just saw. All right. Yeah. And so he's got two of us in a headlock and then him like in his bald head and he's, three face. I was like, oh my God, what am I like? Think of that picture. Like I never imagined. I mean, I watched him when I was a kid and I was terrified of him. Like I was just, I went to wrestling matches with my dad and I was like, oh my God, I wouldn't get within 30 feet of this guy. Like, what would he do to me?
Yeah.
And there I am sitting in a room having an intellectual conversation with him about sports and wrestling. And I'm like, this is so surreal. What am I doing?
I imagine, right. Yeah.
You have moments in your career, even a humble career in sports sometimes where you're just like, what am I doing here? How did this happen? How do I get to this place today where this guy and I are in a room and we're talking? And that was one of those moments. So George the Animal Steel is a unique, freakish guy.
Yeah, that's, oh my goodness. What a story. Wow, good. Okay, look at all these stories that just happened. It's like the radio show days. Yep. All kinds of things just happen at the moment and you just sort of go.
All right. Do you want to do a little bit more on this mock draft?
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right. So let's whip. We'll go through it a little more expeditiously. All right. So Caleb Downs went to the Giants at 5. Who did Miller take for the Jets at 16?
Yeah, Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson. Again, his whole
How do you like that? How do you like him? I like him, the player. I worry about his injuries. Go ahead.
You just nailed it. Super talented kid. 6'2", 203 pounds. He's super talented, but he's just always injured. He's so injured, in fact, that
he's not even working out really. Yeah,
right. He's never completed a college football season, so he's injured his entire college career. He couldn't participate at the combine. He was injured. He couldn't participate at the Arizona State Pro Day. He was injured. And now, like 4 days or something before the draft, he's doing like a special pro day where he's not doing everything, but just a select handful of random drills to say, hey, look, I'm alive. I'm running around here. Here you go. So again, I'm curious, did the Jets risk it to get the biscuit? This is guy, if you wipe away the injury stuff, maybe he's the number one wide receiver in this draft. But you can't just wipe away the injury. So complicated story there. But hey, adding weapons around Garrett Wilson makes a lot of sense.
I agree, adding weapons. I'm not sure if he's the right weapon in that spot.
Right.
But, he could be – he has a high ceiling. But
for sure.
It's the floor I worry about.
Yeah, definitely.
Could it come crashing down? All right, Jets round 2. Who does Miller have for the Jets in round 2?
Yeah, pick 33, Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback.
Okay,
Isn't that interesting?
Start of the second round. Okay.
Yep. Second round. Yeah, and he explained that the Jets could trade back up into round 1 to make sure they get him and secure the 5th-year option, which is, again, what rookies get. If you're outside of the first round, anywhere between the 2nd and 7th round, you only get 4 years on the contract. So it's unique if you're right on the quarterback and that hits. The 5th-year option is very valuable. That's cheaper money for the quarterback. So, but he says they shouldn't be giving up picks to move back up. If he's there at 33, you take him at 33, and there you go. There's your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, if that's it, that's there. That's right. And the Jets have the very first pick in the second round.
Correct. That's 33. Yep. First pick, second round.
Okay. Giants' next pick, which comes as the 5th pick in that round, so Miller selected Casey Concepcion. Unfortunately, the Giants get sniped right before they pick Concepcion. Denzel Austin comes off the board. He would have been interesting. He goes to the to the Raiders. He's the Washington receiver. He's the guy with some size, 6'4", 212.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy. Concepcion would play a nice role for the Giants, though. I like him in a lot of ways. I mean, he's a true slot. He's very good after the catch. And he would be obviously a very apt or potentially even better replacement for Wan'Dale Robinson, who they lost in free agency for a ridiculous contract. I mean, I'm glad the Giants didn't sign Wan'Dale to a deal of that nature. I think, the Titans could be paying for that for a few years. So you go young here and you get a guy that's of similar ilk, and you see if you can make that work. I'd be okay with that. I'm intrigued by Boston. I don't know. I like these big guys, I don't know. There's something about having receivers with bulk. I kind of like bulky receivers that also can catch.
Right. Yeah, I would just say this. It's funny, right? George says, oh, man, if he could just stay healthy, he'd be perfect. Well, for Casey Concepcion, his problem is, unfortunately, a prerequisite for playing the position, drops. He's had a lot of drop issues. If he would just catch the ball, he'd be a superstar. Well, unfortunately, that's a pretty important piece of the puzzle. So my draft analyst that joins me every Monday, he joined me actually earlier today, this morning. I do an early show on Mondays for him. He loves Casey Concepcion. It's one of his favorite receivers in the entire draft. So he thinks he can be a superstar. Just he claps when he catches the ball, and that causes drop issues.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And a couple of things I want to mention just from earlier in the draft that I forgot. Number one, Sonny Styles in his mock draft dropped all the way to 10 and was scooped up by the Bengals. So that's some value there. I mean, I don't know. Will he go that far? And Kenyon Sadiq was taken at 14 by the Ravens. That made some sense to me. Andrews is aging. They lost Isaiah Likely. Now you bring in a young stud who can develop. That sounds like a reasonable pick, and that's probably about right or somewhere in that vicinity for Sadiq. So that'd be an interesting pick. Here's an interesting scenario I wanted to throw out there. This is what I was talking about earlier with the Giants in assessing their needs and their situation. Is pick 18 in the first round, which was the Minnesota Vikings in Miller's mock draft. Dylan Thieneman, all right? Thieneman, thank you. The safety from Oregon, all right? He's like number 2 safety on just about everybody's board. He showed well in the combine, right?
Especially 340.
He's terrific. Really well, all right? And was a good player in college. Like, I wonder, if the Giants are really content on taking a safety in round 1, okay, then do you take Caleb Downs at 5? Or could you trade down to 15? Okay. Take Thieneman before someone like, Minnesota scoops him off the board. All right. and then get all that value, you know, get back your third rounder, which is something the Giants need to, I think, try to do in this draft, or and maybe even add something else. I mean, the draft trade value. I mean, I just traded a couple of spots. I saw what I could get value wise for the Giants when we did our mock a week or so ago.
Correct.
Using the PFF formula. You know, if I trade all the way down to 15 from 5, you know, I should not only be able to get our third rounder back, but something else as well. So, you know, that kind of excites me that maybe Thieneman is not the same player that Downs is, but now you've got a solid safety in that spot, and you've gotten some other draft aspects, draft pieces back here, and including the return of that third round pick, which again, I think the sweet spot in this draft is those second and third rounds right now, maybe even into the early fourth. So like, I want to be there, and I want to have multiple picks in that area. And the fact that the Giants will only have one in the second round really scares me a little bit, where I think there's some real value in this draft. So I'm content. Like, I want to get that pick back. Maybe the way back is potentially to move Thibodeau, but you know, the draft's only less than a month away, and we still haven't moved him, and can even get a third rounder for him. But that would be the wonderful thing. Thibodeau's off, you get your third rounder back. The draft is kind of back in order if you're the Giants. And then any trades that you can make now, you're getting gravy. All right. But right now we're without a third. That just scares me a little bit.
Yes, and there's other safeties. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren from Toledo is another safety. So if you're the Giants, there should be plenty of options. It goes back to what we said at the beginning of the show. More teams want to trade down than teams want to trade up. So you have to find the right team that's aggressive for something at the top. If so, great news for the Giants. They could get a bunch of picks. But I agree. Nothing wrong with Caleb Downs. He's really talented. But it may be worth more instead of just getting Caleb in this trade back, get a quality safety and more assets to build more.
And
so,
more.
yeah, there's something
still get a starting safety and more.
Right.
Like, you know, again, for a team that's still, I know the Giants want to go for it. They want to, you know, but like,
of course.
Are we going to be ready this year to be a playoff team, you know, to be, or even more than that? Like, I don't know. That seems like a big jump. Like, I have high expectations, obviously, with John Harbaugh, but I don't want to let my expectations, you know, get lost in the sauce here. I mean, we have not won a lot of football games in the last couple of years. Like, you know, how about let's take some good, rock solid progress. So I don't know. I'm just trying to be a little bit of a realist. What's the other pick for the Jets there in the second round? What did Miller do there?
Yeah, pick 44 overall. He took Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker out of Texas. Very talented player. I like him a lot. To be honest, I'd prefer a different linebacker that went a few spots later. You know, we talk about doing that every once in a while. Jacob Rodriguez, the Texas Tech linebacker, went 56 overall to the Jaguars, and he was a turnover monster. He had 4 picks this past season, and he finished his college career with 13 forced fumbles. Like, he is just a turnover machine. He's the one I would prefer over Anthony Hill Jr., but you know what? Anthony Hill's really good too, and Texas and all that. So, you know, if that's the direction he goes, it's the direction he goes. But yeah, that's the one that I would like the position choice, just slightly prefer a different prospect.
And by the way, Jamie, the FedEx guy chiming in. Boy, he's the great historian, not only of the
wow,
league, apparently the radio show. He says that George Steele interview was circa 2012 to 2014.
So just missed me. I joined the radio show in 2015. So that's when I was first with the program. That would be, 11 years ago. So I just missed George Animal the Steele then.
Right. There you go. All right. Okay. So that gets us through the first 2 rounds. Let me tell you what else. I'm going to give you the bulk of the rest of the Giants picks.
Go ahead.
Talk about the Giants in general, and then you can do the same thing for the Jets. All right.
Yeah.
So Giants, no third round picks. So theoretically, we are out until we get to whatever pick that is, 100 and something probably, right, in the 4th round. All right. Because you've got those some of those supplementals that end up on the back end of the 3rd round too, that pushes your pick down a little bit. So if you want to get me the number on the 4th round pick for the Giants, I just don't know what that number is. All right. But so Miller takes an offensive tackle from Missouri, Keegan Trent, 6'4", 316. So this is a guy that I think they would hope to develop.
105.
So that's pick 105. So 105th pick. We're a little past 100. We're taking our offensive tackle, a guy from Missouri, 6'4", 316. So this is a big dude.
Yeah,
I can't say I know a ton about Keegan Trent, but obviously the Giants need a little help or at least some insurance on the right side of that offense.
Keegan Trost, it looks like.
Trost. I'm sorry, I misread that. My own bad handwriting there.
No,
all right.
Okay.
So that's reasonable to me that they could pick an offensive lineman in this mix.
Hey, that was the line real quick from Harbaugh at this league meetings. The Giants offensive line he categorized a work in progress, so could use those rookies.
Okay. And then 5th round, Giants have the 1 pick.
145.
145. They picked the cornerback from Duke, Chandler Rivers. Okay, so Duke corner. The Giants do have some needs at corner, so that'd be theoretically a developmental corner. And then 3 picks in the 6th round to end our draft. 2 of them back to back, by the way, which is interesting.
Yes.
Boy, you know, have no
Here they all
interruption.
are.
Like at the turn in the 6th round where they get back to backers like fantasy, you know.
Yeah, here it is. 186, 192, and 193 are the 3 in the 6th round.
92 and 93 right next to each other. They start with 86, and then just a few picks later, they come back with back to backers. So they're clustered. Those 3 picks are clustered.
Yeah,
very
interesting strategy.
They've got some targets there. They take Will Kakmarek, a tight end, the tight end from Ohio State at 186.
Sure.
They take Cameron Ball, a defensive tackle, and I would assume one of those run stuffers to plug up the middle. They need that size in the middle at 192. He's from Arkansas. And then they finish off with, Kakmarek, I said is a tight end. So tight end, defensive tackle, and then they finish it off with an edge guy from Florida, Tyreek Sapp. I don't think any relation to Warren, but spells.
I hope so. That'd be cool. Yeah.
I don't know. Does Warren have a son? Could that be Warren's son?
Oh, let me see. I'll do some research on
that. But he's the pick number 193, Tyreek Sapp from Florida, and that would end the Giants. So the Giants essentially would fill safety, wide receiver early, offensive tackle, cornerback in the middle rounds, and then in the 6th round, tight end, defensive tackle, edge. The only one that didn't make a ton of sense to me was picking a tight end. I mean, did the Giants really need another tight end? I don't know if they need some more back. They signed 2 of their guys. They brought likely over. I don't know. They need another depth piece there. That was the one maybe I was scratching my head a little bit. Why not roll the dice on another defensive tackle or another offensive lineman if you're going to roll the dice that deep in the draft, or maybe take a flyer on a wide receiver. So that was maybe the only one that stuck out to me where I was like, really? Should we do that? And a tight end in the 6th round? I don't know. So that's my take quickly on the Giants. Miller's mock draft for the Giants. All right, 8 picks in all, addressing safety, wide receiver, early, middle rounds, offensive tackle, and if you want to call the 5th round middle round cornerback, and then tight end, defensive tackle, edge in the 6th round, and that rounds it off. That's what the Giants end up doing.
Yeah, I would just say, by the way, no relation, and apparently it happens all the time. They get tweeted at, Warren Sapp's brother, cousin, nephew, brother, and they're like, no, there's no relation. Just Sapp, apparently a common last name, and that he's connected. So no Warren Sapp. That would be cool though, but no Warren Sapp connection, unfortunately.
All right, give me the rest on the Jets.
Yeah, 100%. Here you go. So we gave you guys, all the picks inside the top 44. The Jets have 4 picks inside the top 44, but they don't have a 3rd round pick. So their next pick, again, no trades in this. Pick 103 overall. This is in the 4th round, near the top of the 4th round. They took Jadon Kennedy. He's the cornerback out of Oregon. Again, the Jets need more corner help, so I like the competition added to that room. They also have a 4th round pick. It's the Mr. Irrelevant pick of the 4th round. They have the last pick of the 4th round. That is Joe Royer, the tight. The Joe Royer, the tight end out of Cincinnati. And again, the Jets have Mason Taylor, who they used a top 50 pick on last year. They re-signed Jeremy Ruckert, or extended him rather. So they need another tight end. Some people believe they could go Kenyon Sadiq in the 1st round. So adding a tight end totally makes sense from Matt Miller's perspective. They do have a late 5th round draft choice. I got this via comp pick. It is Jaden Roberts, an interior offensive lineman out of Alabama. Exactly what the doctor ordered there. They need more offensive linemen. I saw that there was one pick before the Cowboys took Cade Klubnik, very interesting, who went the quarterback out of Clemson. Yeah, and then finally in the 7th round, because the Jets don't have a 6th round pick, they have 2 7th round picks. They took Caden Wetchin. He is the wide receiver out of Iowa, and then with their other 7th round choice, they took J.C. Davis, the offensive tackle out of Illinois, that a lot of people are very intrigued by, and rightfully so. He's 6'5", 320 pounds, so that's a lot of man. So offensive line dips, obviously the quarterback, wide receivers. Man, there's a lot of pieces here. Jets have a lot of picks.
Yeah. So you feel this fulfills a lot of their needs here, what Miller has put together here for the Jets?
For the most part, again, wide receivers there, edge rushers there. They have so many picks that it's hard not to fill a bunch of the needs that they have. And there's a couple double dip positions that I mentioned, like on the offensive line and whatnot. So yeah, for the most part, if you're a Jets fan, you should be pretty satisfied with this. A lot of game changers. Jordan Tyson is healthy. Arvell Reese, we talked about. Ty Simpson, a potential franchise quarterback at 33. Yeah, there's a lot to like with this mock.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm okay with what was done here with the Giants. I mean, again, needs are needs. You're trying to build a roster. I still think there are more moves to be made. Free agency is not done yet. There still are some meaningful players out there that could be good additions to teams that I think could change the landscape a little bit. And the Giants obviously have some potential trade maneuvers here, particularly with Thibodeau still sitting out there and what they're going to end up doing with him, and is it worth it to trade him away? So I think fascinating stuff right there. Okay, well, that's a wrap, as they say. Okay, that was a busy
covered a lot of ground. Yeah,
covered a lot of ground, from the NCAA to a lot of football stuff.
Georgie Animal Steel,
the annual meetings, Georgie Animal Steel, Bill Buckner.
Yeah. My father making poor Randy from Christmas Story go into a cabinet.
Conspiracy theories. We dealt with conspiracy.
Oh, Substation, right? Yeah. Oh, good Lord. Right.
Go back and watch that if you missed it. The 49ers conspiracy theory debunked.
Apparently, right.
By a scientist out there in California. So, all right. Okay. Well, look, again, typical week for us. We'll have a ton of content coming down. Bud Poliquin likely to drop tomorrow. We'll go inside Jets, Giants, and Bills this week as usual, especially with the meetings going on in Arizona. There should be perhaps some newsworthy items that come out of that. We're back on the beam with our NBA insider, Sean Devaney, on Friday. We're back with our SU insider, Neil Adler, on Friday as usual as well. Another live show on Wednesday, and then the live show on Wednesday night as well. Wednesday Night Survivor, of course, will be back for that as well. For anyone that missed our musical interlude on Friday, we did a special live pop-up show, so to speak, on Friday with my old bandmate, Nicky Lamangino, who joined us and played some tunes and talked about music. It's a pretty long show, went almost 2 hours, an hour and 45 minutes, but you can go in and watch excerpts of it, especially when Nick starts playing the guitar and talking about some of his musical influences. That's a pretty cool wadire for anybody that likes music and wants to check that out. If you missed it on Friday, we did it as a live show on Friday. Might be something worth going back and watching. Again, thanks for all the generosity for those of you that jumped on board today, joining in on the raffle cavalcade. We'll keep this raffle rolling here. Again, we will give away the harmonica and the NCAA championship Sports Illustrated issue with Carmelo Anthony on the cover from 2003 on the 22nd of April. So your support is welcome and appreciated. So thanks to all of you for that. Boy Green, final thoughts if you have any.
Man, I just, sometimes you say, man, we've covered a lot of ground, but specifically today, wow, we covered more topics than I could possibly imagine. Jets, Giants, NFL, and everything else in between. So fun show. We're going to be with you throughout the entire year. There's no crazy break happening. We're going to disappear for a month. There is no off season for what we do here, but very excited because obviously every day, Lurch, we're adding more subscribers and we're getting closer and closer to 1K, which was a big goal for us just starting. I've been very encouraged and very happy with the progress we've made and the relationship we've built with the community. This cross streams on my channel, the Boy Green channel, and the MC Show digital channel. This has been a lot of fun. So hopefully a lot more to come. Again, Lurch, we're 3.5 weeks away from the NFL draft. Any updates on your potential appearance in Pittsburgh?
No updates. No, not at this point.
No updates. Okay.
We got a few weeks. I'm working on a couple of potential things. Will it come together? Okay. Who the heck knows? Knows? Good thing is, good thing is I don't, there's not a lot to be decided. If I can get some arrangements, I might.
You're right. It's not like you have to make a 25-hour drive, right? You could, in theory, decide with very little prep time to show up.
That's a trip I'm very familiar with. So I think always when there's familiarity, you don't have to have a lot of planning. You can just, dare I say, fly by the seat of your pants, which is 100%. Never a bad thing every once in a while. Nothing wrong with a little spontaneity in life,
Of course.
Yeah. Spontaneity it will be. But that's just such a great city and what a great place to host the draft. So
can't wait to see there and be there.
Down there. If I'm lucky enough to join you down there, we'll both have a great experience. I mean, it's just a great town, and it's going to be right down on the water, and it's amazing to me in the last whatever it is, 5 to 10 years, probably closer to 10 years now, how they have built the NFL draft up into a major event. Bud said it years ago, and he's not wrong to say it. He'd still say it if we ask him later tonight when we do our interview with him. And say to him, your take on the NFL draft. He'd say, I can't understand at all why anyone, forget about attending, paying for a ticket, spending money on a hotel, gas or an airfare or whatever to get to a draft, why anybody would even sit in front of a television to hear people read off a list of names.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds to me like the most boring, institution in the annals of sports history.
Yeah.
And how the NFL has sold people on name calling over a microphone to travel hundreds of miles, to spend hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, okay, and to, bask in the glow. He said, I've never seen anything like it. They are absolute marketing geniuses. And you know what? He's not wrong to say it. But people don't think it's boring. People are incredibly intrigued by possibility. We are a world of possibility, and it is so intriguing to imagine these players now officially on our rosters, participating in football games and making an impact. I think that's why people go,
Yeah.
And the fact that, several 100,000 people are all there to, dress up in their costumes, and as Bud would say, dress up in their costumes and their jerseys, and root on, the calling of a name for my team. Yes. All right. We got Arvell Reese. Let's go. All right, baby. We got Caleb Downs. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. Pass the biscuits is what he would say.
If he thinks it's crazy just to watch the draft, imagine being at the draft. And I don't know what position I'm in. My media company I work for is applying for media credentials, so maybe I'll have a different experience. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being one of like anchovies where I'm just waiting to hear someone's name. And then what? Where do I go? What do I do? I don't know. So I'm sure
have another beer is what you do.
Yeah, right. I guess so. Bud's going to think that's insane. Last thing here, Lurch, is breaking news. We talked about that draft 5-year plan earlier. Like that's what the Browns proposed. They have withdrawn their proposal. It will now not be voted on. So apparently they've just heard whispers that it was going to get completely shut down. So they said, you know what, let's just pull it. I feel like you're already there now. You might as well vote. What do you have to lose? But they withdrew it. And according to NFL Network, they got what they wanted out of it to create conversation about it. And hopefully that sets up for a future annual league meeting that now that the conversation has been had, maybe people will be more receptive marinating on it for a year or so. So we'll see.
Okay. Interesting. All right, folks. Well, thanks again. Appreciate it. It was a long one, but worth it. A lot of fun. Back live again on a Wednesday, both for the Survivor show at night and a dayside. Paul actually he's got a commitment Wednesday morning, so I will be with you. Matt Lombardo will be with you, but we will still have all our normal content this week. So again, if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. We love that. If you want to join and support the channel through membership, you can do that if you're already a subscriber. And we're looking forward to seeing you again on Wednesday. Everybody, peace out. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.